GM, sir.
What the heck is going on?
Nothing much. I cried yesterday live on the morning squeeze.
Oh yeah?
I did. I got choked up.
Did you take too big of a bong rip?
Ha! Well, no, but now that you said that, I think I may have to. But we found out Kaijus had been partnered with Coinbase live on the show. I don't know why I get choked up over weird things.
I was going to say get choked up over breaking news, but it's not breaking, and it's in the show title. So
I'm a crier. I'm a crier.
Are you?
I cry I'll cry during the national anthem sometime if my sports team wins. You know, I am. Yesterday. I cried. I did. I was very happy.
Well, I mean, it's a big deal.
You want to know why? You realize they still don't have a blue check from Broken Sea? I mean, what the fuck is that? Like, CoolPets had an insta blue. They showed up with a blue check. The goddamn collection showed up with, and as it should. I'm not saying it shouldn't. It's well deserved, but come on. I mean, what the fuck? Kaijus are like, this is the next blue chip.
Cambo, I cry every time I watch Signs. You know what? That's hilarious because I just watched that movie for the first time in probably like 15 years. Signs? Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix, the aliens. Prop signs start showing up. Good movie.
Oh. Are there crying moments in it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't have cried. The last time I cried was when Kobe died. That was a rough few days for me.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
No, that was bad.
Oh no, what the fuck was going on there with this timeline we're in?
Yeah, when I found out that his daughter and some of the other players from her team were in there, lost it. Rough stuff.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
It's Wednesday. You know what that means? Absolutely nothing.
All right, good. I was scared.
I was like, these markets are 24/7, man. They don't stop. It's not halfway through the week. This is just another day in crypto and NFT land.
It really is a different world, and it's funny how often we get our big pamps on the weekend, right? Like, very often Saturday is the most bullish day for NFTs, depending on how the week set it up. It could also be the most bearish.
This is true, yeah. It does seem like the volatility breaks one way or another on the weekend.
It goes extreme often on Saturdays, but that's just, coming from traditional markets and trading S&P futures, 5 p.m. on Friday, you're done. Clock out, right? And crypto, it's never the case.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we would just petition all of the NFT trading sites to just shut it down on Friday at 5.
Yeah. God. I mean, I always think about these people waiting in the wings. We finally get a good buy on the Flies token. As you all know, I am bullish on an Ohm fork. Old FMC, he didn't buy Ohm at $1,000. He didn't get into the Ohm forks when it was the hottest thing in town. But once Ohm fell 95% and DeFi was declared dead, well, guess what? That's when I start to like things. This is. I bought Dillard's at $24 a share last year because it was going out of business. Who goes to retail? A retailer, a brick and mortar retailer, going out of business. It hit $350 a share last month.
Did you buy Radio Shack?
I don't think I think they were delisted, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it is a publicly traded company anymore. I think it was private, but I
don't think it's a company anymore.
Right. No, honestly, I would. These are the type of things that intrigue. Look at Apple. Could you imagine telling someone with a straight face you were going to invest in Apple in 1999? This company was left for dead. Dead. I mean, but I like those. You got to wait for the ball to come to you. And I tend to be a victim of FOMO. If I try to chase the hot trend, I'm going to buy the top. I have to recognize where my strengths and weaknesses are, right? I'm much better at looking for an extreme in the other direction. Like nothing ever dies. Like nothing in this world ever dies.
You are great at recognizing when like people are like max FUD, max pain, like the bottom is in, like it can't get any more bearish. Like when you are participating in that FUD or that pain, you think that the world is crashing and this thing can go to zero, but you know that dispassionate thinking, removing yourself from the situation emotionally, stepping back and watching what everybody else is doing can be a really great indicator to, like, you know, that age-old theory, do the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you.
And remember, we were talking, man, we had the nicest little flies candle. Speaking of ohm forks, just before the show started, it popped literally 100% in one candle. And I was like, oh, look at how beautiful this is, R2. And look at it now, because it'll be gone in 3 seconds. You know how these things work on these low vol shit coins?
Yeah, someone like makes $45 in the liquidity pool.
Yeah, exactly. Someone makes a 1.6 ETH purchase, it jumps 120%, then 3 assholes who had 0.4 were sitting there waiting for the one pop so they could just take that liquidity right there.
Swing trading these little 0.5 ETH sales.
Hey, it's actually, honestly, you know, getting to know an instrument. The guys in the market that always fucked up were the ones that, like, you were looking for whatever stock that day. Like, oh, what's the new stock? What's the new stock? What's it? The guys who, like, learn the stock in and out. Like, if you watch Apple every day, you just learn how it trades. You learn how the algos play that stock. I mean, you know what it's going to do before it does it. So I get these guys who trade the low vol shit. It's easy. Like, once you figure it out, there's a method.
Yeah. The only hard thing about crypto is you got to time it with gas too, because gas can eat you up pretty quick.
Definitely. I mean, right now, that's why they're doing it. I mean, we've been at an average of 50 or 60 gwei for the last 24 hours, it feels like now. Woof. With this gwei and Ethereum 30% off the highs, people may be sitting here wondering where is the NFT bull, but you know, you could also say crypto is 30% off the lows. It depends on which way you're looking at it, right? I mean, we just rallied a lot.
The glass is neither half full nor half empty. It just
exactly. It's funny how the same price, 3,200, feels a lot more bullish now than it did last month, when it was a very bearish indication of what was happening in the market.
Yes, it's all a matter of perspective and where you've been. I just want to say GM to everyone. Season 3, Bailey, Sandman, Cutter, Cambo, Vintage, Chipper, Ella, Rad, Zhao, Adelaide.
I was so embarrassed.
All of the usual suspects. Millennial. Why
I was so embarrassed this morning because Faded Native was like, hey, bro, you mind following me back? Because we've been chatting for... I was like, oh shit, no. I don't... You know how this happens now? Like, you don't know. If I don't follow you and we interact on a daily basis, please remind me. It is not on purpose. I am like, I fell asleep, I think, at 9 p.m. yesterday. My brain is mush recently.
You just have some built-up anger about art, really. That's what's going on. We love the people who follow you.
Zaddy.
Yeah.
What up, Zaddy?
JCV, Dark Illidan, Native, all the good people. Tom Nook, Ashtray, Jurassic Forest, Agora, Joseph, GM. Look at you guys. Love it. Cass.
Agora was the name of Samantha's mother on Bewitched. Agora.
Great. Do the drum roll. GM Degens, and welcome to the February 9th, Wednesday edition of the AlphaMint AM show, hosted live on YouTube and Twitch. I want to thank everybody for coming back again this morning. Guess what? Free market. It is our 68th recorded show on YouTube. I don't know what the total amount is back when we did it on Discord, but tomorrow is episode number 69.
Nice.
There we go. Anyways, 69 shows coming up. That's going to be really exciting. I guess we're going to finish off the week with a nice round 70. Fantastic. And it's great to see everybody that's either supported us from the beginning or here now. I am your host, R2 Degen, joined with me, as always, by the legend, Free Market Capitalist.
Hey now.
What's going on? It feels like NFTs are maybe taking a little bit of a breather. Volume's drying up a little bit. There's certain projects that are getting the old pump treatment, but right now it feels like maybe some of the wind is out of our sails. We've had things like Pixelverse, PixelPets, Pixelmon, Pixel Pets, CoolPets, Raid Party finally go down. A lot of money has switched hands. Hape finally revealed. All of these big, high value assets have been trading around, and now I think people are kind of positioning themselves where they're looking forward and what they're going to do next. So it feels like we're just taking not even a step back, just taking a little rest. That's my sentiment right now. It doesn't feel bearish. But it just feels like, with the Super Bowl kind of on the horizon, some of this other stuff going down, it's just time to reset.
Yeah, it's slow out there. I think what's heartening is that floors are not really doing much to the downside either. I know the things that got ahead of themselves, like Azuki, are down 50%, but that was to be expected.
They're also still up 10x from.
Well, and that's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, it got ahead of itself. It's not a blue chip. And it's weird to see people talk about these.
We use the word blue chip way too liberally lately.
It's ridiculous. I didn't even want to call apes a blue chip until very, very recently. Like once we went through the quote unquote bear market between September and November, and apes not only held, but actually let us out of it, I was certainly ready to concede. I wasn't against the thought. And I would have said, if I had to predict what the next blue chip is, it's an ape. But I want to be careful with that definition, because what that says to somebody from the outside, from traditional investing with real money, is that this is it's the safest and soundest investment you can make. And I think there should be a high bar for that. And the term is used way too liberally. So I like to say elites, because I think a lot of collections are elites. And then I think blue chip is really reserved for two collections right now, and that's punks and apes.
We really do need to. We talked about this earlier. We need to come up with like the de facto kind of tiers of NFTs, because right now it really is just like blue chip, up and coming, and then like shit tier rug, right? There's so little room for movement in there that as soon as like something hits 10 ETH, it's just like, yep, blue chip. And it's like,
that's a good thing to me. I was thinking about this the other day too, because people talk about supply, like, oh, there's so much supply coming on the market. And then this year, we're going to see so much supply coming on the market. 99% of it is junk. There's not a lot of supply of good NFTs out there. When you take all the elites and blue chips and add them together and think about all the wealthy, fashionable celebrities that are going to want to wear these things, there is an incredibly small supply of a good quality PFP project.
Quality is the real scarcity right now. That's for sure. There's an abundance of junk. But you know what? I mean, a lot of them turn into pretty decent degen plays and whatnot. It's still kind of fun to watch it all go down. And every once in a while, something rises up out of the ashes. But yeah, I mean, those projects that are clear quality value propositions like Azuki have really been showing the ability to kind of run away. And as you said, get ahead of itself. But, I think that is that desire, that scarcity to be getting into something that by and large, the community feels like is a worthwhile project.
And I wouldn't call Azuki an elite yet. But if you made me bet which the next elite is, I would say Azuki.
Yeah, easily.
But
so what would you put in elite then? So like, is it CoolCats a blue chip?
Elite?
Like elite bordering on blue chip?
Here's the thing, during the bear market, CoolCats pulled back to 4 ETH. And now that they've rallied, but blue chips are rallying around them. Now, I am very bullish on CoolCats. I intend to buy one here very soon. But it is interesting to me that they have not been able to break that 14, 15 ETH resistance. Now, that was where they got up to last time before they pulled back. I think there could be a little. Yeah, go ahead.
Keep it. No, I was going to say, launching a.
Gotcha. Now I wanted to do the silent thing where none of us talk. I think that there's still a lot of people who paid 0.02 for these, and we're gonna have, this is life changing when you paid 0.02 for this NFT, and I think we do have to work through a little supply that way. I know it's hard to leave the cats, and that it is based on that whole friendship camaraderie thing. But I do think we are at a phase now where early smart celebrities need to buy them from the people who paid 0.02. They haven't quite seen that celebrity hype phase yet. It's not, cool cats aren't known, like, you know, it's not the thing in celebrity circles like apes are currently.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the other thing that I was thinking too is, you know, you get this derivative that comes off of Cool Cats, i.e., CoolPets, right now, and it's almost like a little bit of like a stock split or like a dividend payout,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
where the price of those Cool Pets, especially because you got to mint one for free if you owned a Cool Cat, gets baked into the Cool Cat, and then once it gets, you know, distributed out into the world, that value kind of gets pulled out of it and gets put into Cool Pets, right? You see that all the time with those really juicy, like special dividend rewards, and in traditional stocks, the stocks go up way higher than the dividend's even worth. And then the, you know, the good traders will actually trade it before the dividend gets paid out, because that, you know, it got ahead of itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm very bullish on cat. I mean, if I had to pick one to be the next blue chip, the same way I would have picked apes last time, I picked cats this time. I think without question. I feel like Doodles and Azuki are a bit of the pretenders right now. I think Doodles is an elite. I don't think Azuki is even an elite yet, and I do think Doodles has legs here. I just think that for them to get ahead of cats feels wrong.
Sure. Yeah. And when you're saying pretenders, I mean, that's not an indictment or a bearish statement on the project. It's just, you know, it sometimes it doesn't feel right when these like big legacy projects are getting beaten by something that just minted, you know, a day ago or a month ago, right? Like
And I
like you
wonder
said,
how
you've got to redistribute these people that got in cheap, and you
and
do see the big pullback from it.
I wonder how much it has to do with the discords, right? Like the Doodles Discord is very well known for its alpha, much like Kaijus, much like Kongs. This is much like orcs. You know, these communities are known that you're not that when you buy that NFT, you're also buying an alpha pass into their rooms, and it apparently is very, very good. And I do wonder if that's the difference. Cool Cats, they're much more of a creative community. You see a lot of derivatives come out of there. It's very wholesome in there. It's really that type of vibe. And I do wonder, now thinking out loud, I've never thought that before, because Doodles is very well known for that. And I love Doodles, and they're going to be, they are an elite now, and they'll certainly be a contender for blue chip in the months to come.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, guys. Let us know what you think is going to be the next blue chip, or even if you disagree with anything that we just said. I'd love to hear the opinions on it. That was a great little sidebar. Last question that I have for you about it: where do you fit mutants into that? Mutant apes.
Well, it's interesting. I think they're informed by Bored Apes, like that. Like
right.
Because it's a companion collection, I think it, instead of giving it its own designation, I think it just makes apes more of a blue chip. It gives you more of the case that it is a blue chip, because now they release a companion collection, which obviously has so much demand to get into this club, that now its price is over 20 ETH and very, very desirable. And then the dogs, you know, lowest entry into the club, they are now over 10 ETH. I would say they're part of a blue chip collection.
That was my intuition too, right? Like we're going to start
Mm-hmm.
looking at these things as like an umbrella term. Like it's not
Yeah.
Bored Apes, the collection. It's Bored Ape Yacht Club, the
Club, right.
entity, the club, the community, right? For
Mm-hmm.
sure. No, I think that's a great take, because that's exactly what I had in the back of my mind. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Let's go into crypto real quick. Not much to talk about there. Kind of just going sideways from yesterday. A little bit of a cool down. Actually, since I've refreshed, ETH has kind of went up from 3,100 to 3,200.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's kind of flirting with 45,000. Those seem to
Quick
be a
pullback.
little bit of they seem to be like our kind of next phase of resistance. I know that you've said, you know, getting back to 2,800 and maybe, you know, 38,000, 40,000 will be healthy for the market, redistribute a little bit and shake some hands out. But yeah, interesting. We're kind of just sitting in this channel right now and not a lot going on, even in some of the top 100 coins. I looked at the 24-hour gainers, nothing of note really going crazy. Every once in a while you get these lower cap ones that go a little nuts, but I don't even find them relevant to mention. But yeah, what do you think this weekend? Going through lots of hype into the Super Bowl, not just for NFTs, as we've mentioned time and time again, but also I actually have an article pulled up. Might as well just coincide that together. You know what? I closed it. Anyways, it was a list on Decrypt about who is known to have ads airing in the Super Bowl, and it is FTX, it is Crypto.com, it is BitBuy.
Yeah.
Those big companies are going to be front and center, as well as some NFT type deals. But I don't know. Do you think that ends up being a sell the news, or do you think that enough people, enough eyes on this have attention, and you'll start to get that spillover effect of people saying, you know what, maybe I am going to go look at this?
You may even be seeing it right now. I thought we would pull back to 2,800, 3,000. We hit like 3,220 on the nose the other day. That was like the upper end of my resistance. We pulled back to 3,000, like 30 for like 3 seconds, and we've bounced back really hard here. I think we're getting to this point. We talked about how $125 million was removed from the NFT market with these very large auctions that we've seen over the last week, and it ain't coming back. That's being changed into fiat so they could apparently build, out these games, right? So that got sucked out. But I also said, I don't think that's even going to remotely counter the amount of new money coming in, and we may already be seeing the effect of it. I mean, I think we all could be underestimating what the masses rushing in to buy a little bit of Ethereum so that they could buy some NFTs after the Super Bowl is going to do. I mean, either way, it could be worrisome. Whether it'll be a sell the news and we blow off because the Super Bowl is too NFT focused, or it causes some sort of just maniac week where ETH rallies and NFT, because why are they buying the ETH, right? Like that's the point. Like, a lot of people love to say that NFTs go down when ETH goes up, but what if the only reason to buy ETH was NFTs? And really, we're getting to that point, because if anybody buys ETH Sunday or Monday, it's going to be to purchase something on OpenSea or LooksRare, not to deposit it into Yamcoin.
Well, we didn't actually talk about this, but I think there was one day last week where the OpenSea volume actually surpassed the Uniswap volume, which was, like, I think the first time it ever happened, and that's a pretty big sign too. Yeah,
it was weird.
Here's the other thing too, right? Like, when people buy Ethereum and spend it on NFTs, right? That money doesn't just get spent once. It has a ripple effect throughout the entire industry, right? Like, whenever I sell an NFT, my first inclination is, what else can I buy, right? That money gets passed on and on and on and on and on. And, it's not just like, you don't need $100 million to enter the ecosystem to bring the total kind of like market cap up $100 million. It does a lot more for NFT floors than just that, like, straight dollar value. It gets moved around a lot.
Yep.
Sorry, you were about to say something. I was just finishing my thought there.
No, I don't remember. Everything looks bullish. I'm actually not worried, but the chart is setting up like we could get a bit of an explosion to the upside, and that's not just in crypto. Those stock charts are looking wildly bullish, given how bearish we were a few days. You got to understand what that sentiment extreme the other week was very dangerous for bears. Like, people, you got to think the opposite of what you're seeing in front of your face. And as everyone was saying it was going to zero, I saw sentiment indicators as oversold as they were when we had the COVID crash. And mind you, markets were down 50%, 40% then. This was a bear trap of all bear traps, and we may get some sort of bullish reaction here that could actually set up a bull trap of all bull traps. So just be reticent. Let's see I almost hope it's not. I hope we're very measured here. I would still prefer chop between 3,000 and 3,200 for as long as possible before the next leg, but we'll see.
So I just want to touch on something that Cass is saying. He's saying Nate Roth says that he feels the Super Bowl will grow the gap between normies and crypto heads, which I could see happening. The pump could very well put normies out of reach. I mean, here's my general thing, and I think Robinhood is an example of a platform that is doing a good job of making the idea of fractionalization normalized. a lot of people, I think you have to buy a whole Bitcoin or a whole ETH to participate, right? And they see that price 3,200 or 44,000, be like, I can't afford that. That's too expensive. Not thinking that you could put any amount of money into it and start to build a stack, right? Because traditionally, stocks, you own one stock. You had to own one stock. That's why they end up splitting. It makes it cheaper. Blah 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 blah. So the idea of fractionalization is going to be important there. But here's the thing. I mean, everybody now is saying, I wish I had bought Bitcoin at 20,000. I wish I had bought ETH at 2,000, right? Those people, like before, were saying, I wish I had bought ETH at 1,000. I wish I had bought ETH at 500, right? It's not that it's out of reach. It's this idea that on the way up, I missed the boat, and on the way down, it's dead, right? But you know, if eventually people start to understand, like every time somebody does that, I wish I had bought Apple in the 90s. You there's something today that you could be doing that in 30 years will be mind-blowing amounts of money, but people don't think about their time horizon in that sense, right? 30 years is a long time to diamond hand Apple stock. And sure, maybe if you did that, you'd be a multi-millionaire right now. But it's all everything in hindsight is 2020. And I know that sounds obvious, but you know, I think people will eventually start to realize that, you know, it's just getting in and holding and accumulating over a long period of time that's going to benefit them. And I think that financial literacy is really getting out there. I think people are starting to realize that.
Bull markets climb walls of worry, and bear markets slide down hills of hope. And anytime you look in the rear view mirror, it looks very obvious. Shit, look at that bottom left to top right. You could have just bought at the bottom, sat there, and made a lot of money. But you don't remember the whole way up. Bears telling you it was fake. This news story coming out. This person telling you they think there's a black swan of it. It's never this easy, clear path that it looks like in retrospect, okay? So just be reticent and try to adjust your instincts to do the opposite of what they feel when we're at those extremes. When the market feels like it can never go down, that's when you sell. And when it feels like it can never go up, that's when you buy.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest realizations that I had, especially, you know, when I was working more than full time and I didn't have time to actively trade this or watch it or anything like that, was like, I just set $100 a week buy on Sunday. It never changed. It never altered. I never turned it off. And it just grew. I didn't have to worry about up or down or up or down. And there was lots of that in that. Right. But it was just, you know, I think that dollar cost averaging is going to be important for people that aren't trading too. Right. Like it eventually just all washes out.
DCA.
It's not the most optimal way, but you know, you're also not going to get wrecked by doing it.
Right. I mean, you know, everyone can't play on expert mode. You just got to do what works.
And if everybody is playing on expert mode, nobody's playing on expert mode. Your advantage gets washed away.
And this is what happened in poker. Once it stopped being a popular game and there were just pros there, all you were doing, it was all based on luck because you were just pushing around money to people who were just as good as you. It would just be like, who was hot that week? It was the same thing. You need people.
The casino was the winner, just like you know, the miners would be the winner in that, right? You're just at the rate. Yep. In the poker game of life. Yeah, let's keep this moving a little bit. Lawmakers take aim at Puerto Rico as crypto tax haven. A lot of crypto millionaires have been moving to Puerto Rico. The taxes are very favorable, and as an American citizen, it is very easy to get there. But amidst a lot of cries of gentrification and, you know, not contributing as much to their government as some people would like, they are going after Puerto Rico. Don't know how much this has to change, but the one thing that I would say, and I think you're in agreement, is that the crypto community, these newly minted millionaires or even billionaires, are very mobile. They're very transient, and the second that a situation doesn't favor them, they're very easy to just get up and move. And that's one of the beauties of crypto is it just goes with you.
Right, and that I think governments are beginning to realize, especially here in New York, where there's a very large crypto presence. Some of the most important crypto entities exist in New York, yet the laws are very, very stifling and strict. And it's no surprise because crypto people are very willing to move their location to have fair and favorable regulation and laws.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I'll be watching that. I'm not an American citizen, so as much as Puerto Rico seems appealing to me, it would not be as easy for me to get there. But yeah, I've heard great things about it. This is probably the most interesting topic of the day. Meet Heather Morgan, the rapper and Forbes contributor arrested in the $4 billion Bitcoin heist. Unlike many people accused of crypto crimes, Heather Morgan has a very active social media presence. I'm not going to lie. I was getting some Dexter Morgan vibes here from this article, hiding in plain sight, living their best life like nothing was going on. This was a very strange kind of turn of events. This was from the was it Bitfinix hack about in 2016. So God, almost 6 years ago. Crazy. The now $4 billion worth of Bitcoin that was stolen is been traced back to Heather Morgan and her husband Ilya. They laundered funds and spent it on gold, NFTs, other items, everything. I mean, they were living a fabulously wealthy life and doing so in under the eyes of everyone on social media. This is ballsy. I gotta say, if I was sitting on $4 billion in stolen funds, I would probably be hiding somewhere in the world. I would probably be living all right, but I'd be looking over my shoulder constantly. She's on TikTok, on Twitter, rapping, saying she's a serial entrepreneur, talking about how to businesses. You even pointed out that somebody had asked her on TikTok if she had stolen $4 billion worth of crypto, and she said yes. This is wild.
Yeah, criminals want to get caught often. And this is just a very bizarre case of hubris, sociopathy, all coming together into one crescendo of entertainment value. These are the criminals we deserve in 2022. This is the timeline that broke off in 2016 into this just wacky world of weirdness we exist in. And this makes a lot of sense. The single largest for seizure ever by the Department of Justice. Bitcoin, $4.6 billion, stolen by these two lunatics with very close connections. And normally we say allegedly, but they have quite literally admitted to it on social media multiple times. I could bring up a TikTok. And have you ever seen the TikToks where people silently dance to music with the word yes and no above their head and then answer seemingly random questions by pointing to one and smiling, or pointing to one and, saying no, whatever? Well, one of the questions she was asked was, have you ever stolen $4.6 billion in Bitcoin? She laughed and pointed to yes.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Well, I mean, it's a great point. Like when you said criminals often want to get caught, you know that she is sitting on all of this funds and she wants the world to know that, she earned $4 billion. Now, you can't say it, but there's that instinct of like trying to tell everybody without telling them that it's you. She's going to end up in prison for a long time. So is her partner. But that TikTok thing that you mentioned really reminded me of the during the what do they call it, the Capitol Hill riots or whatever. Parler was an app that kind of broke away from Twitter to be like a freedom of speech, no censorship. A lot of the right wing people, the alt right or the far right, kind of migrated to that after Trump got deplatformed. And the FBI went on to Parler. They made an official looking thing saying, Trump is looking to pardon anybody that that was participating in Capitol Hill. If you were there and you committed any felonies, please message us with your name, where you're from, and any crimes that you might have committed so that we can get the pardons all sorted out for you. And apparently they had like thousands of people that were just willfully giving them all of the information they needed to know to track these people down. And I think it really just ties back to that statement that you meant, is like people want to be loud and proud about the shit that they've done.
And Vibo has pointed out that TikTok video was fake, by the way. So I was had. Done been had. Right. Well, what can you do? So these people allegedly stole $4.6 billion. We'll see how this works out in court for them.
Yeah, I mean, They would have had to have seized the Bitcoin somehow, right? Like if they have their hands on it, they got it. So would that not have had to have been through them?
Yes, but we still have to say allegedly. Maybe they were holding it for
Okay.
someone with no.
Alleged. Oh, yes, holding $4 billion in Bitcoin, right? Allegedly. Correct. I get it. Yeah.
That's all.
That's it. That's all. We'll keep. Oh, there's that TikTok. Not the TikTok you were saying, but one of the TikToks about her funding her multi-million-dollar businesses with zero outside funding. I suppose
she was a surrealist rapper.
Bitcoin. Surrealist rapper, yeah.
Surrealist rapper.
She's gonna have a lot of time to work on her rap game.
Mm-hmm.
This one I thought was really cool, not because I'm an Alfa Romeo owner, not because it's glamorous or anything that you can trade, but the new Alfa Romeo SUV will come with an NFT service record. This is one of those things that, we don't talk about it a lot because we're trading profile pictures, P2E games, music NFTs. We're talking about quick flips or minting and long holding as an investment. One of the underpinning things that is important about NFTs, and one of the reasons why they're not going to go anywhere, is that they have really great use cases in regards to something like this too. So on the new Tonali SUV is going to be sold with an NFT that tracks the vehicle's service history. And I think this is a great use case for NFTs. It's that immutable, trackable ledger to say, yes, I did all of the services at the required places when I was supposed to. This is how many kilometers are actually on the car, whatever. All of those things, right? And it's going to be a lot of transparency for resale value. Is there any accidents on record with this car? All of that stuff. So, just a subtle use case. This isn't something that you're going to be buying and selling, but something that's real world. And a lot of people talk about housing deeds being on there. That one's a little tricky, but I think that this is the direction that you're going to see a lot of things go into. And as this starts to permeate the normal world, you could probably see it with, shoes or rare Pokemon cards or sports cards, all of that stuff. As that starts to be a practical use case in the world, the term NFT, the idea NFT is just going to become easier and easier and easier to digest too, right? There's going to be a lot of people that bought this Alfa Romeo that has no idea what the fucking NFT is. And it's going to get explained to them and you're going, oh, that's kind of cool.
This is why we talk about the NFT industry will be very different than what you understand today. There's plenty of use cases beyond art. Art is the Trojan horse to get NFTs into people's lives. And then real estate, cars, large goods will all be revolutionized by this technology. It's held back by hardware largely right now too. And as adoption by large companies like Alfa Romeo continue, that's going to change. And I'm very looking forward to this new world. Crypto is NFTs, period.
Yeah.
This is the point of cryptographic blockchain technology.
I will say this. There's in the neighborhood that I am, there's a couple of Alfa Romeos, and I see them and I really like them. And it had crossed my mind to maybe look into to getting one, but I've never driven one or anything. But seeing this, I'm like, hey, maybe I should.
I've seen a couple of the Lamborghini SUVs. You seen this new?
Jam? Yeah. Oh, they've been around for a little while, but the Urus.
Yeah, I'm seeing them now though. I guess it takes a while for them to permeate. I've seen a few recently.
Yeah, so I actually saw one when I was in Montreal at the at a dinner club there. There was actually two of them and a Lamborghini parked all out front. I'm assuming they were from the same people. Can't imagine that level of wealth, but beautiful.
I was very hesitant of the Porsche Cayenne, and to this day, it's my favorite car I've ever driven.
Yeah, apparently they're wonderful SUVs too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard great things about them. So one day when the NFTs make me wealthy, maybe.
It's an affordable SUV.
Well, it's probably what, $100,000?
Yeah, fully loaded.
Sure. Grand Theft Auto game publisher highly convinced by NFT opportunity. Take-Two's optimistic view on the opportunity and NFTs also comes with caveats and caution around the crypto sector's speculative side. Couple things about this article. I love that now NFTs are the crypto sector's speculative side when most people say that crypto is the speculative side of the of these markets and whatnot. So this is basically just crypto on crack. But We've talked about Take-Two, the acquisition of Take-Two a little while ago, or Take-Two acquired another company. I'm having a hard time remembering about that one, but this isn't exactly news. We knew about this, but I do think that now that Grand Theft Auto 6 has been confirmed and is well under development, if we're looking at maybe like a 2-year time horizon for this game to come out, this seems to probably align nicely with the growth trajectory of NFTs, and getting them to the point where they're willing to implement them in the games. I mean, Grand Theft Auto Online is essentially its own little metaverse in a sense too. You have a house, you buy stuff, you earn money and all of that good shit. But yeah, I mean, it continues to happen. You see the news right in front of your eyes, and the inevitability just continues to feel very, very high.
Yes.
Yes to all above. No, we could. Yeah, we talk about this a lot.
The last video game I actually ever played for like an extended amount of time was Grand Theft Auto, and in many ways, I feel these type of things are very brave. And I know that sounds maybe a little, jaded or whatever, but this is career suicide often for these entities that are in traditional media or traditional art. And as we see, when a large entity like this announces that they are going to make this type of move, it is often smacked down very quickly, and they go back on their word. So I would be very, very happy for them to hold this decision and move towards crypto gaming, as this was the last game I ever really liked.
I feel a lot of those backtracking on the smaller publishers that are reliant on their fans to keep them going. I think that like Take-Two or Blizzard, Activision, Microsoft have reached a certain threshold of monetary value that if a couple people turn their backs on them, it's not as big of a deal. So I think that maybe it's like a smaller ones that often get smacked down pretty fast. Some of the bigger game companies are basically just saying this is it and it's coming and deal with it. And they have the ability to do so, because at the end of the day, with all of the griping with things like Call of Duty or like the Diablo franchises, the StarCraft franchises, all of that shit, I mean, people will say this and that, and they don't get it anymore, blah blah blah. They still play them, they still buy them. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest step forwards in adoption too. And eventually it's going to make the smaller companies feel a little more at ease doing it too. Like we talked about with Worms. Day one, they said, we're doing it. Day two, they said, haha, just kidding. Right.
Yeah. So, I'd like to point out some obvious FUD on this. And I don't like to talk about FUD. It means fear, uncertainty, and doubt, if you don't know what the acronym stands for. But I'll just read this comment. Remember the episode where Homer drives a Canyonero with a lipstick compartment? That's how I'd imagine FMC in a Cayenne. All right, Icon. I will have you know that when my Cayenne drives down the street, it blows the panties clear off anybody who is looking in that direction. So you can just hang up. You could take that FUD to another
I love that episode in that song when they're driving around. It's like Canyonero. Great. Great reference, actually. That's I forgot all about
inaccurate,
that, but Bart gets in it and it starts echoing when he's talking. Hilarious. What did you say?
Nothing.
Inaccurate?
Yeah, inaccurate, but a good reference.
Last news article I have before we just kind of shift to full into NFTs and what we're going to talk about was Picasso's great grandson struggling to sell his Ethereum NFTs. Just 10% of the NFTs offered via Origin Protocol have been sold after a family skirmish derailed branding them as Pablo Picasso NFTs. I just thought this was an interesting discussion. Free Market and I talked about it a little bit before the show, and do those genes pass on? I think we probably say likely yes, but at what point do you get to brand something as Pablo Picasso NFT when it's not done by Pablo Picasso? Also maybe a little bit surprised that these are struggling to sell too. These seem like something that people would have been all over. Maybe it's part of Origin Protocol.
There's an interesting argument that permeates normie discussion about NFTs, which is that artists' work gets stolen and sold. Like this idea that some nefarious person right-click saves some artwork, pretends they're the artist, and then sells it. And we were even talking about this on the Morning Squeeze yesterday because we had a DC Comics illustrator on who told us that this is something that people in her industry say all the time, or maybe even felt that they were victims of it. Well, just like this Pablo Picasso situation, I think people really underestimate how sophisticated collectors and investors are. And the idea that NFTs are actually easier to prove provenance on than traditional art, which is faked very easily with no public ledger to reference. Okay. It's a complete straw man. It's absolutely ridiculous. The reason this isn't selling is because he's leveraging the name of his grandfather or whatever this is to try to sell something collectors have no desire for. And the idea that art can just be stolen and sold as an NFT and that somehow takes something from existing artists, it's fake. It's a fake talking point. It's false.
Sometimes I feel that narrative by artists is just this like, doubling down on their stance of like the starving artist thing. It was just like, you have this opportunity to do something, but for some reason someone told them it's not good. And now they're just, maybe even salty that they're seeing unknown artists making it. Like I use Ghost as a reference all the time. I mean, this guy's story is incredible, struggling to sell anything, moving around the world, just working on his art day in and day out. He just randomly, joins BitClout, finds some people he's talking to, throws some NFTs up on, Rarible. And then all of a sudden, like fucking Keith Grossman and Pranksy are buying them. Was it Pranksy?
Vincent Van Gogh.
Vincent Van Gogh, sorry, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, like, he's earning money, and not just from anyone. Like, you can't even say, like, this is wash trading, it's Ghost selling it to himself to pump the value up, it's money laundering. No, the fucking CEO or the president of Time Magazine and one of the most renowned NFT collectors in the world want his shit in their collection, and he's earning money off of it. That seems fucking great to me. I don't know about you, but this idea that everyone's getting ripped off, it's all a scam, and anybody that participates in it is a fucking scam artist is such a weird narrative, considering artists have long sought a way to earn money for their passion, right?
Yeah, it is a complete straw man argument with no basis in fact. And anytime people outside our industry throw these things in my face, I ask them, do you have the data to support this? Because if they ask for the data to support my points, it's all immutable and on chain, and I can point to it.
Yeah, sure. Does money laundering happen? Yeah, but it happens fucking everywhere else in the world too. The biggest transactable between illegal the drug trade is actually cash, so I mean, the whole argument is so
it's not like the largest seizure in Department of Justice history was crypto based. I mean, guys, back off.
You got it. Breathe, man, breathe.
Why not?
What do we want to talk about? It's CoolPets Day again. Maybe it is Groundhog Day. I said it was all over. It's not. We just talked about they know how to stay in the news, I guess. Public sale for CoolPets is going down. There's about 4,000 of them left, or maybe, I think it's about 4,000 of them left for grabs. This is being minted from the website. They I guess we're using the word allegedly a lot. They supposedly have figured out anti-bot measures. You're going to have to mint from the website. And if the contract is not botted, it is going to be a manual gas war hell. They're, selling for 0.5 ETH. The floor right now, as last time I checked, the risky OpenSea refresh. Yeah, about 2.6 ETH. So 5x. People are going to be gassing the fuck out of this. And we'll see where it goes. That's going down at noon, so that's going to be interesting to watch. I'm assuming you have your one egg and you have two. I can't remember.
No, I only have one. I didn't buy another one. Yeah. And the price just kept going up, and I just kept watching it go up.
Yeah, I mean, I could have bought the bottom, and I opted not to, and I'm fine with it. I will live to see another day.
Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere near 4,000. I think it's 1,900 plus a few people that did not mint their allow list spots. So maybe a few hundred on top, because CoolCat owners have unlimited amount of time to mint their pets. There is no time restriction. And I think about 80% of them have minted their. I even saw Psyduck, who, as we know, has over 100 CoolCats. He was still minting eggs yesterday. I don't know if he forgot or, look, there's a lot. It's a lot. I don't think you can mint 111 at once. So he, I still think there's a percentage of CoolCats who haven't minted yet, and they're going to wait too, because it's the Clonex Vial effect, which are sitting at 55 each right now.
What? 55?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. What, when do those expire?
June?
Yeah, because they're not
something like that.
Like this is.
No. But you can hold till June. And if there's only 2 vials left and there's a 101 in them, you're getting half the price that 1 of 1 is worth. Someone's gonna play the coin flip with you.
That is the risky proposition.
It was like that. What Deal or No Deal? When they get down to the 2 suitcases and it's like $1 or $1 million. Some rich person will play that coin flip. Fuck it.
At those those kind of arcade things for kids, where they run around and earn the tickets or whatever. There's always that Deal or No Deal one there too, and I love just sitting there playing that one.
Yeah.
Pure degen plays. So this is going to be fun to watch. I think now we could start talking about that over under on price. There's going to be a gas war for this. Gas wars typically tend to favor the floor price once these things all get minted out, and people that kind of sent it and didn't get their hands on one now have to buy off the secondary, because the supply is going to be pretty well capped, save for some of the CoolCats that haven't minted yet. But I think now we can actually start talking about it. So you initially had said that this could reach 5. I thought that was a very difficult price target to call, but I did smash the over. That was before all of the delays. I can see that being a good line again.
Yes. That would be my prediction here. I think people are going to have to gas war these to almost the price they're at now. I would be surprised if people were paying, a lot. The thing is, it's a very optimized contract, so I shouldn't say that. I mean, you may fire off 10,000 Gwei and not even pay 0.2 or 0.3 in gas on top, depending on what you send for prio. I don't know what people's strategies are for that. So we will see. I am not engaging in this manual gas war.
No, but I know that there was a lot of people that are going to send this and haven't bought off the secondary because, they see that public sale as an opportunity.
Yes.
And after that opportunity is gone, then it could be off to the races for these. I don't suspect we'll see them drop any lower than they are right now.
I don't know what, on some level in my head, I'm like, why won't it be 21,000 Gwei? Why won't the miners just take everything? You know what I mean? Because if these are going to 5 ETH, right? Like I think, and it's unfortunate. If you didn't buy your CoolCat before this public sale, you may not have a chance. I think everything could rally pretty damn hard here.
Sorry.
What's happening right now? Yeah, 2,500. Yep.
Shoebang is clarifying for me. I would have thought that I guess I was about to say I was surprised that so many people on the allow list didn't mint, but this is making more sense now. I mean, there's still 2,300 outstanding, which is a shame if you got on there. Makes me kind of believe that some people set it and forget it or had bots, or I don't know what really happened with that, but I'm surprised that this many. I fully anticipated this being like 1,200 tops.
Right.
But public's going to be a gas bloodbath. I mean, if you have anything you have to do on chain, I would do it before noon, because it's gonna get sticky out there.
My work doesn't get back from rating till 6 p.m. So I think gas will have calmed down again. But it doesn't matter. I
suspect that people won't still be minting these at 6 p.m.
No, but I didn't know this, but like when gas is high on L1, Polygon gas is high. I mean, I guess it should make sense. I don't know why I thought it would be different, but the gas on Polygon also, like, you can accidentally pay a lot way too much to roll your orc if you're not paying attention to gas. And again, it's so minuscule compared to, like, you may accidentally pay $5 to roll your orc instead of 0.03 of a cent. But when you know that it's usually 0.03 of a cent, you're like, oh fuck, why did I just pay $5? Whereas the cheapest
to ever, so funny, right?
I know. Whereas the cheapest it was ever to do one action on L1, it was like $24, and I would celebrate. I was like, oh my God, $25, $30 to claim Zug or something. Now it's like, oh my God, what did I just spend $5
on? Cass is saying that the Cool Cats said in their town hall they want a gas war, or at least a few have said that. Yeah, I mean, my typical feeling towards a gas war, and tell me if you agree with this or not, is just that I think it is good for the project overall, but you don't want the entire minting process to be a gas war, right? Like, you do have to try and somewhat fairly distribute the minting process throughout people who are originally supporting you, maybe some people who contributed. You give all these allow lists, and then when there's that small portion of it, then almost like in an auction style, you give the people who don't want to allow list grind, don't care to participate in the Discord stuff, you give that ability for people to like really throw some money at it to grab one too. And I think that's a pretty fair kind of distribution way. I know a lot of people will say like, the whales, they could just buy whatever the fuck they want anyways, like why gas war? But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's good for the overall health of the collection.
Yeah, I love my Cool Cat homies, but y'all are way too full of unicorns and rainbows too often here, okay? We want a bloody gas war that leaves people dead on the road, bleeding and having lost some gas, and milk is going to $3. All right, let Uncle Free help you guys out a little bit here. All right, you guys don't have to talk about floor price. I'll do it for you. All right, this is what we want, okay? Let's get it done. Let's get it done. We want to see a few broken eggs here. At 1 p.m. or whenever they're doing this.
Yeah, what, the reveal is tomorrow, or the game starts tomorrow?
The game starts tomorrow.
Yeah. So people using Fiverr and VAs equal OG. I could see that. Yeah, I mean, obviously some of that goes down.
$3 milk.
$3 milk.
Your average Cool Cat will be making $3,000 a day that first week. They're not even going to know what to do with themselves. They're going to be shitting themselves. Thing is, none of them are going to cash it out. They're all going to use it to evolve their pets. That's how that's how the game works.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat here. Karafuru still hasn't revealed yet. Yeah, this is a meta that I would hope goes away pretty soon. This is, I think, at this point by design. It's starting to become a bit of an issue, and people are willing to sit on it and trade it.
Please, let me just talk about this collection for 1 second, okay? Because these fucking guys are a straight Murakami knockoff. Straight Murakami knockoff. That's all it is. It's Murakami's art formed into whatever the fuck this thing is. Now, I've wondered quietly in my own head, I wonder what Murakami thinks of this project. Very hype project, getting a lot of press, blah, blah, blah. The other day, these Karafugazi assholes tweet out a picture of the Murakami Pixel Flower project that's coming up. That account followed them. Not Murakami, not Clonex, not whatever person they hired to run the social media for these Pixel Flowers followed the Karafuru account they were tweeting this out like Murakami blessed the fucking collection. Fuck out of here, Karafugazi. Get off my screen.
Well, I mean, yes, but why did Murakami decide to do what he was doing? Like I don't know. Those like pixel this is what you're talking about, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
You have all out of here.
What? Me?
No, there's these people bragging about this.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. That too. But like, look at that's the art that he chose to put out. I'm disappointed.
I'm questioning the gods among us. Just wait to say, yeah, I love it.
They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Who knows what utility these flowers are going to have? Who knows? Look at that thing.
I think Karafuru is the bomb. I love them, but also respect Murakami a lot. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're all entitled to our opinions. I you know what, I actually think the art was pretty cool on them too, but I understand the frustration by it. What's really bothering me is the reveal. 24 hours left to reveal. When were these minted? Like, why was this not ready to go? This is just, I mean, $15,000 of or 15,000 ETH in volume has been traded with these little balls floating there. We saw it with Hape 5 days ago. Okay, so they're going to be looking at basically a 7-day reveal process. I just think it's too long.
I agree with you, JRP. I think Carrefour is the bomb too, because I've been a fan of Murakami for decades. I love the Carrefour art because I've seen it before.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, what else did we have going on today? Kind of two polar opposite tweet threads that I wanted to share. We talked about this yesterday. OhhShiny tweeted out how to judge an NFT project team. Since the beginning of the NFT space, there have been standout winners, low-life grifters, and everybody in between. Here's how you make sure that who you buy from is legit, high quality, and investment worthy. I thought this was a really great topic that got brought up yesterday, because often we talk about and get asked about what red flags are for a project. And I don't think that we often talk about what are the good things that a project does, you know, how they handle their community, how they handle their own personas, the quality of art, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just thought this was a kind of a good reframing, and it kind of like, it almost flipped my mind. It's almost that differentiation of, you're always looking for the negatives. Like, how can we pick something apart? And this was a good way of saying, you know, like, how can we celebrate what the good teams are doing? You know, he goes on to talk about the Anon team, the riskiest of all teams. Like, hey, Satoshi is an Anon. Look at Bitcoin. Look for them to be, so if the team is anonymous, look for them to be process driven. The more details, the better. Innovative. If you can't trust their past, trust their future. I think that's an incredible statement. And accountable. They show up when needed. We talk about this a bunch too, is, you know, going back to red flags, is if a team doesn't want to not just come on our show or talk to us, but talk to anybody, if they're not accessible, if they're not answering your DMs, if they're not assuading issues in the Discord and fixing things, like, that's, you know, that's a lack of accountability, and it shows that there's no real intention to do the right things, right? So on the flip side of it, if they're not going to be an actual person behind the account, at least have them accountable. The docs, a step in the right direction. Just because their name isn't public, or just because their name is public, doesn't mean that they're competent. Look for them to be experienced in similar types of work, in good standing with past friends, collaborators in the community, and liable. Take responsibility. I would even add another one in there and say that look for, like, how long their accounts have been active for. Like, you know, I guess that's kind of going, but so many times people think a team is doxed, and then once you start going down the rabbit hole, all of the profiles have been set up in the last 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, you know, and it's that idea of like, oh yeah, it's a person there. Like, is it? You know, make sure that there's a long-standing history of them engaging in whatever they say they're doing. Celebrities have powerful brands, but they're here for a cash grab, or are they building something that lasts? Look for them to be students, hungry to learn, participation, accessible, connects with the community, enduring. Will they stand the test of time? You see people like Snoop, you see people like Paris Hilton, where they're engaging, they're interacting, there's a process of discovery there. And then you see people like Floyd Mayweather, who doesn't give a fuck about NFTs. He gives a fuck about the money that's being paid for him to say the word NFT. And he's not accessible. He's not learning. He's just on camera saying, buy this, right? So that was good. The extra hyped. You've seen it on Insta. The Discord is popping. The whitelist has people flying to Bali, but will they deliver? Look for them to be progress focused. Launch is just day one. 100% true. Social savvy. Can they keep scaling the audience? And brand specialists, turn hype into money. And then the most important part of finding a good team is your own patience. So do your own work, get a good feel for what's going down. And you know, stick with projects that you believe in and you have conviction in, and you get a good feeling about them. So I thought this was a really great thread. Free market, what else would you add on to this list?
Well, I don't know. I think he did cover a lot of what I talk about, and I purposely don't listen to the OhhShiny show or any other NFT podcast because I don't want my views to be colored for our show. I want them to be fresh, whether they're right, wrong, indifferent, or whatever it is. But I greatly respect him. And this thread it encapsulates why. I think the general argument out there is which type of these teams you should bet on. Like an Anon team is worse than a Doxed team, or that a hype project is worse than this, like all these comparisons people make on a daily basis, when this is the proper nuanced take. There is no archetype of team that can't put out an amazingly successful, even blue chip project. But he would very neatly lines out what to look for in each of these individual teams. So instead of framing the argument as you should buy this team over another, he frames it as these are the things you should look for in each type of team to consider it an investment for your ETH. So shout out to OhhShiny. Really well done.
Yeah, good. And like I said before, I love the kind of reframing of it because, again, like sometimes we just get, dug into the mud and looking for all of the shit. And, sometimes you can look up to. On the counter argument, getting into the shit, there was this thread, and it's going to lead into a bigger discussion. A project full of red flags, case study, Inner Circle Pass, thread below. My thoughts on one of the most recognizable art collectors in NFTs, 210,000 followers. Let's call them 999. I don't know why he didn't just say the name. He's implied it way too many times in this thread. But this is something that I don't want to say I feel victim to, because at the end of the day, I bought and sold for a profit. So good for me. But it was just this like Kool-Aid type cult where there were these big exorbitant promises that weren't met. He says, I was a fan, held the project for 6 months. When he would jump into the Discords and grace us with his presence, community would go wild. If he bought into a project, sales would fly. He launched the Inner Circle membership, promising that he was going to change 8,888 people's lives. Now, we've talked about this a lot on the show. That's way too many people to make that promise to. That is a lot of people, and that is a bold statement to make. And yet he made it. Yet he made it, and people bought into it. This gave access to free airdrops from his artists that he collects. A few red flags. History. Prior to this project, he launched another project, The New World, where famous artists were to be showcased. I don't think this project ever actualized. I think that included Fuck Render and Boss Logic, and that's kind of just always existed, but like who knows what the fuck that's been. Utility. Since September launch, there have been 3 airdrops. This is the biggest thing. I haven't been following 888 since I sold it back in, I think, November. But the fact that there hasn't been an airdrop since then is just fucking mind-blowing to me. Most of them are now valued under $100. 2 of his core leaders abruptly left, and they were the face of the brand. Roadmap and execution. Partnerships announced with CoolCats that never happened. This partnership was announced in October and still hasn't come to light. Like, that's fucking wild. I mean, I remember the price pumping from that, and this just still doesn't exist. He did a Sneaky Vampire Syndicate collab, and that like left so much to be desired. The Jason Seif rugs, he literally made a rug, a pattern rug that you'd be hard pressed to be able to sell for 0.01 ETH. Like, these things were just tragic. Poor organization, where a messy Discord server had to be closed and we had to move on to another one. Being in there and banning people that were asking questions about the project, asking legitimate or voicing legitimate concerns to them, and you were just getting banned. Huge red flag. Like that, I get it when somebody is in there like shilling random projects, posting bad links, just being nonstop FUD because they want to or they have fun. Like, sure, as long as if there's no substance behind what they're saying, and they just won't stop. Like, I guess I kind of get it. It can be toxic for the community. But when somebody's in there asking a question about like, you said this, how long, or, what was the meaning behind this, and you just get banned, like, fuck that, honestly. And it goes on and on and on. But here's why I bring this up, because we could have talked about this any time in the past 2-3 months. He launched another project. The 888 Inner Circle is expanding with the 888 Outer Realms or whatever. This guy is fucking selling 80,000 more membership passes. 80,000 for 0.088. playing into this like 888 thing that he's got, good fortune, blah, 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 blah. You couldn't deliver any fucking promises for the first 8,888 people that you sold this to. You've been talking out of your ass for the better part of half a year. And now you're going to sell this to 80,000 more people and expand the membership. It was too fucking big to begin with. This is just egregious. And I really, really hope that anybody associated with this guy turns their back on them. I cannot believe that these are selling. They sold out this one. I'm not even going to click the other ones, but it looks like it's been a play. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. And again, like I said, I drank the Kool-Aid for a while. I believed that this guy would deliver on it. And I sold, and I'm happy to have now. And the price of the 888 Inner Circle is higher than when I sold it. But I don't care about that fucking minuscule little profit that I missed out on, because I am just so happy to not be thinking about this person in my day-to-day life. And seeing this pop up now just blew my fucking mind. I don't get it. This just is just crazy to me.
I genuinely don't know who this person is, and I didn't know 6 months ago. Take the 3 ETH. That's my comment on the entire saga.
Famous statement when it hit 3. And here's the other thing to me too, right? The first drop that they did was the Malavita circle that went around the profile picture. I actually thought it was kind of a cool marketing.
No fucking clue who this person is, or why people listen to him. Whatever.
I thought it was a cool marketing thing at the time. You saw a lot of people with it around their profile picture. You know, they had a site where you can automatically put it up in there. He has a name. I don't know.
Certainly the sign of financial stability.
But you put out all of these other projects, and you literally just recolored those Malavitas. Like, you literally didn't offer anything different for this. It's a joke. Illidan is saying, don't forget, none of the money or royalties from the first fucking raise hasn't been used to do diddly squat for the first group of buyers. Yeah, absolutely. And then yes, definitely take the ETH and hide your kids, hide your wives. Yeah, I mean,
he outlasted Beanie.
What's that?
He should make an NFT that says I outlasted Beanie. I would buy that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look for some of these people to really start to flame out. I cannot believe that this is being supported in the way. Do I even want to do the math on how much money this raises if he sells them all out? Like, it's in the tens of millions, if not pushing $100 million. And it makes me sick at this point, honestly.
I think it's just crazy because we could see it, right? I mean, you know how many companies right now in China are making shit that breaks in a day and shipping it to Walmart and Target and every store in America? I mean, we're being fucking scammed every day for 0.01 ETH by every entity in the world. We could just see this easily. This isn't surprising. You know, this is just a sign of how much more we have to grow. All right, this is please. These people are smart. They're making a ton of money. Not NFTs.
I feel shitty.
Scam humans have run since the beginning of time.
I'm glad that I'm out of it now, because looking back on it, it was like, it almost became a meme with the wealth and all of that stuff. But like, it was so culty, like the idea of buying into this, and like, there's going to be people that actually are supporting this move now. Like, oh, he's going to raise so much money to support the first 8,000. Like, isn't that just a fucking Ponzi? Right? Can you raise money? So I don't know. Fuck, this guy.
Ponzi's all the way down.
Always has.
The only thing that's not a Ponzi is community. I know it's fucking an annoying cliche to hear every day, but it's the only thing that's real, because it's thousands of people out there advertising your cult for you. Okay, none of these things have actual community. They just have people who want to get rich. That's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, amen. I believe I completely agree. Illidan is saying, I mean, he legit could have used all of that money to make a real profile picture project that people actually wanted. Well, I mean,
could he? I don't know.
You could have done it without that money too.
I think it would have just. I think he could have made people want it pre-mint, and it would have been a piece of junk, and it would have gone to zero also. Oh, it's just kicking the Ponzi can down the road.
Kicking the Ponzi can down the road.
That's
Love
all.
it. All right. Yes. I guess the last kind of thing of the day, not last. I mean, we have a couple more things to talk about. I did do a little bit of a dive on Pixelverse and PixelPets. Looks very, very cool. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But
the egg of choice for many people.
Well, let's talk about the OG egg here. Kaiju Kingz added to the Coinbase roster, and saw some movement yesterday big congratulations to Dots and the Kaiju Kingz team and the Kaiju Kingz community. Still don't have the blue check on their project, but they are getting legitimized by Coinbase NFT. And I think this is very exciting. I can only imagine how rabid and wild the Kaiju Discord was going yesterday, and I'm sure you were partaking.
Kaijus are party animals. Okay, what's separate? All these alpha rooms that are good, like the ones you hear about that are good, they're good because they get the same alpha, right? Like it's the good alpha. It goes to these rooms, so that's all the same. But each one has its personality, right? Like doodles are those guys who stand outside art galleries smoking parliaments and talking about derivative art, and like Kongs are the guys who stand outside their Wall Street bank, drinking coffee and talking about, what the fuck ever. And Kaijus are wild ass party animals. And if this is the greatest fucking atmosphere, when something good happens and you get into that Kaiju room, I mean, you'll laugh for 30 minutes straight. They're a bunch of maniacs. The alpha is fabulous. And of course, yesterday was a goddamn party. We've been sitting here for months waiting for that blue check on OpenSea, right? Because it lends some credibility to your collection, whether you like it or not. And why didn't they have a check? Some people speculated it was a token, it was this or was that. CoolPets has a blue check from the moment it debuted. So whatever OpenSea's reasoning is, they can fuck off, because the real blue check is being added to Coinbase. All right. And that's what's happening for Kaiju Kingz. I don't use the word blue chip lightly, but I do like to predict the ones that I think will be, and Kaiju Kingz are it. I have been wildly bullish on these. They feel almost misunderstood, like my bastards. But this is, I've said it many times, some of my favorite art from last year in December, when they were at their absolute bear market lows and people were leaving the community and quite literally demanding the devs do something, not in a meme-y, jokey fashion. I aped into more. I love this project. I am so excited that they're a launch partner, and a huge shout out to Dots and Matzo and the whole team over there.
Dude, I totally thought you were going to say that the real blue checks ones we made along the way. I was going to just like, no,
I don't say shit like that. But what the real blue check is being recognized by someone like Coinbase. Because when we talk about accessibility or, attainable luxury, right? Apes have gotten to the point where they're no longer attainable luxury. Like this is luxury. This is, you have to be wealthy to buy. Or excuse me, I said attainable. Aspirational luxury is the term that they use in retail now. So Apple is aspirational luxury. They're more expensive products. Most of the premium is in the hardware design, not its functionality. And it's an aspirational luxury product. If you go to China, there's a lot of swag that comes with having that Apple logo on the back of your phone, right? It is aspirational luxury. Now that things like even CoolCats are getting out of the price range for your average person, they are going to start looking for the aspirational luxury items, of which I think Kaijus exactly fit that bill. So I think Coinbase is the perfect place for Kaijus to flourish. And I'm really, really looking forward to that marketplace coming online.
Yeah, so it's looking like the Kaijus have crossed over the 5 ETH floor for the Genesis. Is that the highest they've gotten ever?
No, they were up to 7 during the first hype cycle, and they got up to 6.1 when Azukis were hitting that 17 ETH, and the market was a little frothy. And then when ETH started rallying off 2,400, the babies were at about 2. The Genesis were at 6, and they pulled back. I think Genesis got down to 4.1 or something like that, and babies got down to 1.4.
So. I feel like in some years' time, not buying Kaijus, the Genesis ones, when they were much lower during that November, December kind of bear market, will be one of those ones that really like burn my ass.
Go change to the backgrounds. Go to the side to the properties. Change to the backgrounds and look at the rarest background. It's called Tokyo Night or something like that. Go to the
Main Street.
Main Street. Go Click on Main Street. Okay.
Okay. Clicking on Main
check
Street.
out check out the floor here, right? It's like 7, then it goes to 8, 9. I paid 1.6 for one of these in December. All right.
Oh wow.
And these have been moving at that price. Okay. And in fact, a less rare background sold for like 7.8 yesterday. Now, mind you, these are rares. It's all about what the person likes. They're not liquid. You know, it could take weeks listed at that price to sell, but that is what they go for. Now, I will say this with an absolute seriousness and straight face: Genesis Kaijus are going to be 50 ETH at some point. I absolutely believe these will be blue chips one day. I think these will be very appealing to a younger generation of celebrities, a Gen Z-esque blue chip, a blue chip for performers and TikTok influencers and rappers. Okay, this will be what they gravitate towards. So I could not be more bullish on Kaiju. And I said in the pre-show, I cried during yesterday's news. I believed in this project so much. And there was a point in December where, you know, people who you thought were really going to stick with it were just paper handing and leaving the community. And it got quiet in the alpha rooms then. But you know what? It was the most fun because the real core Kaijus were there, and they're the guys making it amazing right now. That is a legitimate
you rally
community.
Together. You bind yourself. You know, like if you've often said that nothing is more binding than, you know, getting rich together. But I also think the inverse can be true, is like sticking with something when you were down on your luck. Should I have sold? You know, is this the end? And you have that core group of people that, you know, rally together and say, you know, fuck no, like, you know, we're going down with the ship, and all of a sudden we're back, baby. Right?
All the Kaijus on the floor in December, people had paid, I'm talking 7 to 10 ETH. I mean, they were taking fucking monster haircut. The Genesis floor was under 2. We were between like 1.2 and 2 for at least a month. All right. People really left these for dead. And I keep going back to art because people love to say the art doesn't matter, but you bond over art. It's like a band. Don't you remember bonding over bands in high school? And it's like what coalesced a group of friends. And even today you'll talk about, remember that song, remember that concert. That's what this is. That's what this is. When Kaijus meet up and they put like the little Kaiju head photoshopped on the picture and everyone has their arm around each other, people love that shit. Like, it's fun. Everyone's having fun in there. Fun is a big component here. These are entertainment properties. People miss that. Like, you go into these grind discords, I mean, it's ridiculous when people compare them to something really oppressive like slavery, but it certainly feels fucking bad in there. It feels like malaise. It feels terrible. It does not feel that way in Kaijus. It is quite the opposite.
Yeah, definitely. It's always been known as an incredible community. God, I'm looking at the Coinbase thing, and we're talking about Coinbase being a stamp of legitimacy, and I didn't even fucking realize this, but look what else. Like, no!
You had to scroll that low. I give my whole spiel. I do my whole thing here. And
I'm so sorry. I scrolled and I couldn't even undo it. It's all there. Everybody saw it.
What does it say? We are excited to welcome legendary collector creator 888. Wow.
In the inner circle.
Wow.
Swing and a miss there. When Coinbase NFT? When the hell is that going down? I feel like we've been a month away from that for the past 5 months.
Yeah, I am guessing that they're, given what they want to do. So here's the thing, right? We were all worried about how regulated and how KYC it would be, and whether they would let coins that have tokens and all. Literally every fear we've had has been batted down. Didn't they even say it wasn't going to be KYC, Coinbase? Or no, maybe that was OpenSea. Was never going to go. The point is that
I have a hard time believing that Coinbase won't be KYC.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be, but I think that Coinbase has a lot more regulatory hurdles to go through than most, especially with how ambitious they want to be. Like, just the fact that they're letting ape token and milk token, NFTs that have these things on there could be sticky to regulators. We don't know. I don't even, I don't want Coinbase getting in there and explaining to the SEC what Zug is, personally. Because I'm sure those conversations are happening as we speak.
Man, I am so sorry that I have the stream opened up on another tab just because I like to keep tabs on it. No pun intended. But man, chat has actually been going on. I thought you guys just stopped talking, and mine is frozen. So, Free Mark, I'm going to throw this out to you. What other projects should we be looking at for Coinbase NFT partnerships? And I'm going to kind of relaunch my restream. It won't cut it out, but I'm just going to jump back in there so I can actually see what people are saying.
I think they may have already announced Crypto Mories. I think Little Lemons are a very obvious candidate because it's affordable relative to other ones. It's cute. It's wholesome. The yellow and the blue would be a nice contrast for Coinbase. So obviously Little Lemons. I actually think something slightly controversial like MFers would be interesting because I think Coinbase has to do something slightly edgy, and I think bringing the most famous meme in crypto into their fold and being able to tweet out the word MFers without saying motherfuckers could be Coinbase's way of pretending that they are edgy and fresh. Yeah, I mean, I would expect to see some collections. They've pretty much announced all the ones that I would guess. I mean, Deadfellas, right? Kaiju Kingz was kind of the last one I was holding out for, but maybe you guys have some suggestions in the chat here. Oh yeah, the chat stopped for me too at 10:42.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Was
well, I could never respond to the chat anyway. I'm in some weird guest mode here, or
yeah,
I don't have a response.
I'm going to figure that out, and I don't. I can read it off from the other one because I have like the YouTube thing open. B-Vlad saying no KYC with Coinbase. That's what the VP said during an interview.
Yeah,
interesting.
I did hear that. Okay, yeah. Good. Yeah, and and I'm glad you said it because now my point really makes more sense. All the things we thought that they were going to do because it had to be this centralized entity, they basically said no. We're letting on tokens. We are not doing blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's harder for a company like Coinbase to pull off given their regulatory, and that's why it's been paused. Can't imagine it's a tech thing, right? Like Coinbase can just throw unlimited money at 10x engineers and get something beautiful out.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure
that too.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's regulatory given how ambitious they're being and trying to. And kudos to fucking them, man. They launched something with no KYC and utility tokens. Good for Coinbase. I will happily be happy for Coinbase. Let's see what that percentage on the back end is. I am still a fan of Looks Rare, and that would be my site of choice anytime I make an NFT purchase, period. But thinking about the masses and how they would do things and approach and have access, if Coinbase pulled all this off, I would tell people to go to that over OpenSea. I feel no desire to give OpenSea business until they start.
Well, one of the things that I saw pop up about OpenSea was what is called, I guess, I think it's technical debt. And it's, the coding and the platform of which you've built the entire thing doesn't scale properly. And it's not like they can just throw more server space or more money at it. And I'm not excusing them because hopefully if that's the case, they're just doing a full rebuild from the ground up, which would be difficult. I would hope that Coinbase is more than addressing this issue and they understand scaling and en masse. I mean, Coinbase, has been the criticism a lot of, during these high volume pumps or, high volume dumps. Honestly, Coinbase also goes down and makes it very, very difficult for you to participate in the action. I would hope that in building this NFT marketplace that they seem to have been doing for the past few months, they're going to be addressing all of the issues that we see with Coinbase, OpenSea. My apologies.
Definitely. So, I mean, I'm curious. I think they said first quarter this year, so they have about another 45 days. It seems.
Yeah. Maybe Super Bowl. Maybe something there.
I was gonna say, man. Is this I don't know, R2. Is this the quiet before the storm?
I don't know. I mean, they absolutely have the money to take out ad space on the Super Bowl.
Right,
they can throw that. That's a dent in their marketing budget.
There's got to be some surprises, right? We can't know everything. It'll be disappointing if the Super Bowl is everything we've said and nothing we didn't expect. That would be the only thing that's disappointing to me.
We've hyped it up to the point where it just has to be disappointing now. Like,
well,
aliens are gonna fucking land, and
we have said a lot. I'll say this: if they can somehow holographically project those Bored Apes on the performers during the halftime show, I don't care if we predicted it. That'll be fucking epic. That'll be epic. Yep. I know the tech is there. Let's see.
Yeah. Going with the chat here, we got some people saying lemons for Coinbase. Definitely the Littles, Chibi Apes, Wonder
Littles
Pals.
Is good.
Cambo hoping Generative Dungeon is.
Let me reset too, so I could see the screen. I'll be back.
No, I can't see it. I'm pulling it up on like YouTube being open on another browser. I don't know what happened with Restream here. It's borked. But I am just I'm following along on another. If you can open up another browser and stream YouTube with it, you'll be able to see. But Swampverse mentioned in there. I think Littles is a great call. I would love to see lemons on there. Don't know if that will happen.
I actually think there's a very good chance lemons get on
lemons there. Yeah
And it's the type of collection that could see it. I mean, look, all the collections, if you look now, because everyone worries about that first day pump, and then of course the volume goes away and the collection pulls back. Every Coinbase announcement that's happened, but look at the long-term trajectory of everything they've announced on Coinbase. Legit. Look at that long-term trajectory. These have all, like, even Deadfellas. Didn't they announce Deadfellas at like 0.4 or something when they were still 0.4?
Well, Coinbase isn't, yes, correct. Coinbase is not going to be putting rugs on there. I'm sure the teams are being somewhat vetted. There's a process here. And I think that Coinbase is, taking into account that they want projects that have a longevity to them and a continued longevity, right?
Yeah.
So I can definitely see why the long-term trajectory of the projects that have been announced to Coinbase should be pretty good. I think it is, like you said, a great stamp of approval, aside from that 888 nod there that we passed by. Hologram also said, if Coinbase lets staked ETH2 customers use that for NFTs kept in custody on Coinbase NFT, that's a game changer. I've heard no one talk about it. That's brilliant. I love that. I think that there's so many amazing things that Coinbase has the opportunity to do. I know that they've kind of, with regulatory issues, been shot down with some of their not staking, like DeFi plays that they were planning on doing, and they got pushed away from that. But combining any kind of maybe collateralization or anything like that for Coinbase and NFTs is like you said, a game changer.
Indubitably.
Kaijus in a Coinbase NFT commercial during the Super Bowl. That seems highly speculative.
That would be good. They're very photogenic.
They are. I've always loved seeing your profile picture of that.
I am rocking it today, even on the Twitter, and to celebrate. I changed it. We found out the news while we were on the Lemon Spaces yesterday. I mentioned in the pre-show I started crying, and I did change my PFP to a Kaiju live on the show.
Yeah,
shocking to the Lemon community.
Sorry, just scrolling through.
Ooh, I just got my first chat.
Oh, did it pop
and
back?
It's somebody posting their MetaMask and begging from Twitch. I guess Twitch is working.
Yeah, maybe Twitch chat is working. I'm sorry. I'm new to NFTs and crypto.
I'll tell something.
Really I'm sorry if this is legitimate, but I'm blocking this.
I'll tell you something, sir, if you're watching. From a young man named Shubang once came to me with a similar proposal on a site called BitClout when his coin was worth about $2 and he had only the money that Merlin had give him to his name. And I said, maybe if you came up with a better approach to asking people to invest in your coin than directly, you'd get somewhere. And today he is a cool cat maven, one of the largest NFT collectors in India, in the world maybe. So big facts. I actually have great hope for you. I just think you need to change your methods.
Yeah, that's a tough ask. And but Cool Man's Penguin saying Cool Man's, love that call. I could totally see that too, especially with Cool Man Coffee Dan's built-in following that he already has. Sanchez, JRP's asking, is chat working? No, I don't know what happened with the YouTube chat in Restream, so I'm going to be reading it on another channel. So I apologize. There might be a bit of a delay there. Good segue to lemons. Yeah, you want to talk about a little bit of lemons? They went through a little bit of a pump yesterday, if you want to call it that. What started
Not
that
really.
off?
We were doing our interview yesterday, and then all of a sudden the lemon bot started going off. They had been sitting at 0.32 about, but the floor is basically 0.4 to 0.45, and then people will undercut it when they need quick liquidity. So those little dips don't last too long or whatever. And then it rallied up to 0.5 yesterday as quite a few went off, and then it pulled back. So this is just, we're still working through. There's so many people that paid 0.02. There are people that paid over 1. So you have people who are both cashing out still at 20x, right? And then you also have people who are taking a big loss, who bought at the top, who just can't look at it anymore. So we have to work through that supply. We've taken off about 200 lemons from the market that were there before the last pump. And that's all you can ask for. You're slowly adding uniques, getting lemons off the market, creating that supply. People get fooled by the floor price. That's why you see people undercut. They don't realize if they didn't list for a few days, the gravity that would happen. So, but this isn't a bad thing. You almost want this because now it gives you weeks to have cheap lemons sitting there, people who don't understand how NFT works, and it creates a supply crisis underneath the surface where the floor price looks like it's either down or stagnant or dead. And this happens across all NFT collections, whether it's distribution, because it works the other way as well. You can see a very high floor maintain on an NFT collection, but people sneakily selling, okay, in a smart way, almost the opposite of what's happening on the Little Lemon Friends floor, where the thing stays elevated, right? Even though there's actually distribution underneath the surface, and that wall is getting thicker, even though you see the price stay the same. So it works both ways. There's a supply crisis brewing in lemons, but this is a slow organic community. It didn't have an influencer pump like Alien Friends. It only had 7,000 people in the Discord at Mint, and it doesn't care. There's no pressure on this collection. So there you go.
Yeah, Cambo's asking. Oh, also, by the way, the YouTube chat is now back.
I see that.
So look, that's nice.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We're back. Oof. I feel lost without my audience.
I know.
People. I love you guys.
We weren't ignoring you, I promise. Cambo's saying, what utility Lemon Friends come with? Just so he's saying, sorry, community.
I think I don't
utility of friendship.
Here is the issue. Okay, I find roadmaps to be a scam. I don't care what the company is. I don't care what the project is. If they have a roadmap out there with any sort of ambition on it, I think it's a scam. Period. And they may not even know it's a scam. I think you are extremely hubristic to put something on a roadmap that you don't know if you can execute or not. I think I am very careful when I'm talking to teams or when we're trying to formulate these things. The lemons have a roadmap. I don't even care or know what it is. We wanted merch badly. Did I think it was going to pump lemon prices? No. We want pixel lemons badly. Do I think it's going to pump lemon prices? No. The reason lemons are at the price they are is because of the community that meets every day on Spaces, that meets every day in the Discord, that just love hanging out and talking with each other. And when every day a few people, 3 to 4 people, hop in the Discord and say, God, I see you guys everywhere. I think I want to be a lemon. Can you show me, some lemons or tell me about why I should buy them? And 3 people tell their story and get in there. This is the slow build. We talk about organic communities and it's usually wrong. It's usually manufactured. This is literal organic growth community. And that's the greatest utility in punks. That's the greatest punk utility in Bored Apes. I don't care what the Bored Ape roadmap, and you can take this sound clip, is eventually going to be their downfall. Either I don't know when, okay, and they'll get to $1 million first. I am not saying it is a bad investment. That will eventually take them down, because every time they put something new on the roadmap, it needs to be better than the item that was previous. And that eventually ends. I don't care who you are. Yeah, I don't care how good you are. There comes a point where that ends. And that is why.
Could you not say the same for like all companies though?
Yes. Totally agree. I'm not. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
I am in complete agreement.
No. I mean, if since you are agreeing with that, I will say that is a very valid statement, because you see the rise and fall of traditional companies all of the time. Eventually, their outlook gets stale. You look at someone like Sears, for instance, if you really want to take it back to a traditional company, they were Amazon 20 years before Amazon ever existed. And they dropped the ball because their, quote unquote roadmap, their trajectory was stale, because their founders or the people on the board lacked vision of where the world was going. And now it doesn't exist anymore. So I don't think I need to clarify what free market is saying, but for a little bit of context, like, he is correct in saying that eventually you have to keep either surpassing yourself or get surpassed, right? And it's totally true.
Yeah, and eventually runs out, right? Why is community valuable? Well, what happens if you sprain your ankle and there's a doctor in your community? Well, he tends to help you out a lot more. And what happens if you need a job at a bank and you find out there's a bank manager in your community? He's likely to give you a shot, all right? This is what fraternities were built on. This is what things like the Freemasons were built on.
We are only here because of BitClout.
Right.
Love it or hate it.
This is
that community led to this.
In a way, it's not tangible, right? Like, if you want stats on a website, how do you say, well, this person met his business partner through like, these are almost intangibles, but it's why community is valuable. It's not because of the group therapy sessions and the mental health rooms and the anime all that shit's great, okay? But what the real value in community is utilizing the other creatives. It's utilizing the other professionals in your community. Look at star catchers, look at letters, look at so many what are good derivatives, what are derivatives that honor their predecessors that came out of these communities. It's all because they met within these NFT gated areas. And that's it. That is the utility in limits, period. And that's the only utility I ever care about in any NFT. So when people ask me, I give them that one word answer. And I know people hate it. I hope I clarified it a little bit.
No, I mean, I think it's a great answer. And I think that, the word community gets so misused when you're talking about these discords of 200,000 people with like hate prime or something like that. Like, that's not community. Like, like you said, it's that intangible but very evident fact that there is a rallying cry. There is a cause that people have rallied around, and they want to support it. And they want to scream it from the rooftops, right?
The moment those fall below 3 ETH, and they will, that community is going to start undercutting to zero and turn on each other, because it's not a real community, okay? All it is a hype train Ponzi scheme.
Well, where is that now? It has dipped below 4 ETH. Let's do. It's hovering around 4 ETH. I mean, this is that mecca, that slow burn. People start to lose faith, lose conviction.
Only a matter of time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, they just weren't good.
No.
All right. Well, for anybody interested in coming up and hanging out with us for the next 15 minutes, the restream link is up in the Moon Lounge AM show chat. So we appreciate that. I also know that people are starting to get together in the Moon Lounge voice chat for the CoolPets drop. So after the show today, I'm going to be hopping in there and listening to the proceedings. I think you have a lemon space that's going down. Is that right? Every day?
Every day we have the morning squeeze starting at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard. And then tonight we have an AlphaMint Spaces presents P2E Gaming. We are going to go into, as Cool Cats Public will be going live in 47 minutes. We talked with the Ether Orc boys the other week. We have Raid Party this weekend. We have people constantly ask me, and that's it. I think the next meta is going to be P2E gaming. It's been this trend that's been underlying, and people have been calling for a long time. But I do think we are now seeing properties and entities that are going to change people's perceptions, and it's going to go from these niche things, previously niche things like Ether Orcs, or maybe even a Wolf game, and into these mainstream things like whether it's Raid Party or CoolPets, or now even Ether Orcs, with the huge 10 orc sweep yesterday, bringing them almost up to 4 ETH. Now, there are a few known whales, hi guys, I know who you are, who are working off massive supplies of orcs right now. So anytime that floor goes up, they bomb it, which is fine. I mean, we got to work off that supply and get these orcs into the hands of people who actually want to play the game, and away from these max min people just trying to, withdraw money from the community. So that's happening slowly, and we are going to talk about all of that, and we are giving away 2 allow list spots to Chain Scouts in upcoming P2E, that when Lucas in our Discord tells me to watch out for something and be excited about it, I don't walk, I run, and I listen. And that's what Chain Scouts is. And we're giving away 2 allow list spots. It's a private Discord. It is nearly impossible to get on that allow list. So that is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, posted by Naz, myself, and R2D-Chen. AlphaMint presents P2E. And I think R2 just disappeared. So it is now me, alone on the show. Here he's back.
Yeah, sorry. This is the first and hopefully the last time I've ever had somebody drop me free stream, but I couldn't bring Cass up on the stage, and I just wanted to make sure that I was able to do so.
Beautiful.
GM Cass. It's a
GM.
Fancy looking wolf you got there. I'm great, man. How are you?
Living the dream.
You feeling better today?
Yeah.
Sound great.
Yeah, well, yeah. We'll soon find out in a couple of days, but yeah, I'm all right today. And thank you for the comment on the wolf. He's my baby, man. He's my fucking baby.
You're forever wolf.
Trust me, that's not going nowhere. I've already said already. Like you can offer me, you can bring the Queen of England in front of me. It ain't going nowhere. So
well, I mean, that I would agree with, but if somebody offered you,
I would like to purchase your wolf, Cass.
No,
I wouldn't hold it against you if the Queen of England wanted to buy your Star Wolf.
No. I'm setting my ways like that, to be fair. Like I could be on my last diamond dollar, but if I want to keep something, I'll keep something, because again, for me, that wolf is going to be passed on to my kid. So, and to me, my kid's happiness is far more important than what the Queen's happiness is. And going on to the whole community side of it, what Free Market was saying, that's one of the main reasons I would want to keep my wolf, because the community that we have with AlphaMint and with Star Wolves, the kind of people that are in there, my friends, my fellow pack people, same as the way they have looked after me, and same as I would look after them, they would still look after my son if he had a wolf, and that's the most important thing.
Let me tell you a story about my son and Star Wolves, because sometimes I'll be working on them or looking at them while he's over, and he's always like fascinated by it, and ooh, this one, or oh, that one, and ask me how it's going and whatnot, which is amazing. I love it. I love sharing that with him. I recently bought a new PC and gave him my old one, but for backup purposes and stuff like that, I left a lot of stuff on that computer. Just in case, you never know what happens with this stuff. He's 10, so he has his own Discord account, and he jumps in, and we played Minecraft or Rocket League together and all that stuff. And lo and behold, as his profile picture was one of the Star Wolves that was left on my computer. And I thought to myself, my God, my son is a right-click saver.
Oh, we got to tell Pranksy right away.
No, actually, but it was wonderfully flattering, and it actually just meant the world to me. But no,
100%.
The story is true. The reaction was a joke.
No, but even then, just looking at that, I mean, you are one of the artists or the artist for Star Wars. Okay, now let's just say Star Wars, lasts for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, let's just say. Okay, your name will be held in such high regard in the community because of that your son would reap the rewards and the benefits of that, and so on and so forth. Amazing. But it's the truth. I mean, look at what's his name, that Picasso kid, yeah, great grandperson, but yeah. But, he's pulling an NFT through that because of the name. The only difference is that majority of people nowadays probably won't know who Picasso is. Whereas the people who are getting into tech and NFTs, they will know who you are. And they will know who Star Wars are. If it goes for that amount of time. Same as CoolPets, same as Lemons, same as all the other well-known NFT brands. These communities, I mean, even if you look in the 1800s or 1900s, it was things like the Freemasons. It was things like the Illuminati. And there was other things as well where groups of people would come together to make the world or make their world a better place. And NFTs is the start. So you need community before you can go anywhere in this space.
Yeah,
so,
I think it was such a great conversation, and I completely agree with everything that FMC said, everything that you've been saying about it. And I know that you are a huge advocate for the importance of community and adding onto that in a positive way. Cass, we got somebody else that just jumped into Restream. Speaking of amazing communities, and I just want to I'm going to bring him up on stage with you if that's cool.
Yeah.
Guys, we have Dots coming in from the Kaiju Kingz. What the fuck is up, man?
Yo, what is up?
Yo, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear.
Yeah, can I get a how? This is what's going on. Good morning.
This is amazing, man. We're happy to have you here. I heard rumors that you were maybe going to be joining us, but for those of you that don't know, Dots is a fucking absolute legend and the man behind Kaiju Kingz, the newest addition to the Coinbase world. So big congrats to you. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. The Coinbase thing was a slog, so actually finally sealing the deal, and that was huge. I think I jumped into the stream before I actually got into Restream, and I heard you guys talking about community, and I agree with all you guys' sentiment against it. I think community and access to it and building strong relationships is the best thing about this. Obviously, there's an underlying price against everything, but the community is only worth what it values itself at. And at the end of the day, in a bull market, that's what you need is I hate to say diamond hands people, and we're not all going to make it, but just because we're all not going to make it doesn't mean your community specifically can't do that. And that's what we're trying to do with Kaiju Kingz. And I think that's what you guys are trying to do with Wolves as well. So
yeah, dude, honestly, you couldn't have said it better. Free market, what's going on? How are you feeling? Dots is finally up here with us.
I know, man. This is royalty. Dots was when are you bringing me on your show? I'm I've been scared to ask. You're Dots and stuff. Oh my God, no.
I'm not special. I'm not special at all. I'm just the average dude. No.
Well, it's the ones that say that they're the average dude. They're the special ones, dude. They're the special ones. Really. Look at Jurgen Klopp.
Well, you may not have heard my Kaiju rant earlier because we did touch, briefly on the Coinbase thing and everything. And I was just talking about how in December, when things were at its worst, or at least that's what the perception was in the community, and you saw people just dumping for huge losses, and even within the chat, people angry, literally asking if the devs would do something, not as a meme or a joke. But I felt that was almost the best time, because when the tide went out and it was the real core community and we became just so close and such good friends that when it did come back, and we knew it eventually was, it's just the people that saw what was there saw that it was special, and then you just kept adding. and adding and adding. And now I just feel like, you know, it's on a trajectory where people understand this is one of the most valuable communities out there, period. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And I always try to temper expectations. Like we'll just be, you know, chill on the show and honest, and NFTs are absolutely crazy. I think it goes in waves, and every community has to do this. You have a very, like, you have a subset that is like very wants to be in the community. You have a subset that wants to make money, and you have a subset that's flipping, right? So how do you capture 60%, 66% of that market share in your community and make sure, like, hey, we're going to keep our kings and we're also going to make money against it. So it's good to hold your investment. And then how do you kind of move some of the flippers out and create like a stronger ecosystem? And I think we see that with like projects like Project Gojira, kind of what you guys are doing with like a smaller cap and only bringing in people that actually want to be here and driving value against that. I think a lot of the larger caps are going to have a hard time doing that. And everything's gonna sell, right? You know, we have people buying Azukis at 15E right after release, in that without building or adding more value or bringing things in. They won't. So price is going to fluctuate. It's going to go down. And instantly when price goes down, you know, your community members are very silent. And the flippers are always like, oh, I lost so much money, dude. I fucking hate you. Like, fuck you. And I'm like, I didn't tell you to buy at 10E. I didn't tell you to buy at 20E. We minted this shit at 0.06, dude. I didn't touch auction you at 3E.
I thought it said a lot about Cenarius of Little Lemon Friends once they started getting like really frothy towards the end of that first pump, that they had to just come out there and say like, look, like, I'm flattered that, you know, you guys want to be a part of this community, or that you're thinking about spending this much money on an NFT that we created, but don't overextend yourselves on our behalf, right? And I think that that's so important, because it's a wild ride on the way up, but it's a really, really rocky ride on the way down, and it can really hurt. And yeah, so sometimes flippers and traders get caught up in that, and they know how to take their losses, but, you know, in that snowball effect down the hill, some people that just wanted to be part of the community get caught up in that, and then that FOMO cycle, right? And it's hard to watch them go through that. But, you know, as Free Market has said so many times, you know, that community that's formed at the bottom of that valley is just diamond handed, rock solid. And I mean, you guys have gone through that, and I think you're seeing the recipient, or the benefits of making it out the other side now.
And you got to understand, like, the number one thing I hear when people ask me about Kaijus, they're like, what's the roadmap? Why should I buy a Kaiju? I'm like, I really don't know. Like, what you guys are great at, and you have to understand, you guys under promise and over deliver, and like very few projects get that, right? You guys went through an unforced hype cycle. It like wasn't your fault. You didn't create this hype. I remember getting in the Discord at 500 people. People were screaming, close this fucking Discord right now. Close it. The flood is coming in. Close the Discord, right? Like, this was not forced hype, okay? But you were the victim of these things getting up to 7 ETH and people paying 8, 9, 10. And like you said, you know, tide goes out. The flippers are the ones who are vocal or whatever. But the idea that, you know, I believe in your roadmap more than anything, mainly because you guys don't talk about your roadmap much. And I know, like, people don't understand how much of a force Augmented Labs is going to be in gaming. And they don't talk about it. Look at Pixelmon. Look behind this. Look at this. Look at this right now. Like, this is a legitimate company. Like, I
feel like you're talking to somebody in billions right now with the glass walls and.
No, this is not my office. This is the conference room. I sit out there. But
okay.
I will say, you know, we should talk about investment thesis. I'm curious on the news for the day and everything. You know, specific to Kaijus and at least what we've done, and this is, I'll kind of like end it on this, and we don't talk about roadmap a lot, and we're trying to build out the brand, but I think, you know, we're one of the maybe 10% out of the 100% of projects that fully reinvested back into the company and to build things out in Web3 and actually like provide jobs. We're at 17 employees. Like, that's all self-funded from Kaiju Kingz and our other ventures. And we're really trying to make a splash in the play to earn space. And I think that's a little bit different than some of these other ones where, you know, we took the long road. We didn't raise $70 million and then go, how do we utilize this, right? Like, we slowly built up our following from No Escape and some of those other things. And we built a company around that, and we're going to continue to build. And I actually think it's pretty awesome. So I want to see other NFT projects docs. I want to see other NFT projects formalize around, centralized location and really start building and pushing, because that's where the value is going to be long term and not just this like short term hype cycle. So
yeah. And Kaiju hires from within the community, guys. Like literally, like every other week, they're like, what do you guys do? Who needs a job? Like DM me, it's amazing. And like we're talking about, what's the utility of community? You see it right there. So, yeah, Kaiju's bullish. Just saying.
Yeah, strong buy from me. Put it on the board. Strong buy.
Strong buy.
That's super dope, man. I appreciate you coming on and taking some time out. We'll have to have you on for a full show, because I know that you're a bit of a degen yourself, right? And
here's
a little bit.
Okay. Well, first of all,
I say that with all of the love in the world. I promise.
I know you're bullish on legend maps. Like this is one I've been screaming, from the tops. We see the generative dungeons doing well now, and I just loved legend maps. I mean, I remember being in that Discord also really early. I max minted my pre-sales and everything, and yeah, I love that project too. But I had this great idea. All right, inside the actor's studio, I was thinking we could start a new show called Inside the Degen Studio. All right, and it's basically just an hour. We'll do different creators from different projects, the ones that are cool. Like, hey, the homie at Toy Boogers. Now, you want to talk about people who get in there and trade? You know what I mean? Like, I think we could do like an Inside the Degen Studio where we just sit for an hour and talk about everything going on in the NFT world. So, Dots, if you'd be up to that.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope. I've kind of gotten away from the DJ, like just like a little bit of a story here, not too much, but I mean, I got into the space by trading a little bit. Like my first buy was Sewer Rat Social Club. Like that was back in like June. And honestly, that's probably like the most high-tech project against the actual price of the NFT. That's besides the point. And that didn't do well. And then I asked a friend, he loaned me some money, 0.13 ETH, and I bought a Forgotten Runes Wizard secondary. Yes. And after that, I just got lucky, right? I got caught up in Oni. I got caught up in Parallel Life and got packs from that. Started my own project, was able to flip some of these things. And I think what I realized like halfway through is where I made the most money is when I said, man, this is a community I want to be a part of. And then just like extrapolating that, like if I'm saying that and, I'm considering myself the average dude, is someone else going to think that? Are they going to be like, yeah, I want to be a part of this community and ride this wave? And so I just started buying with conviction. So I don't flip as much as I used to. I own way too many Legends maps. I'm going to be honest. That team scares me. That team scares me a little bit. Like, I don't know what they're about. They're gonna sell these characters that are coming up. Like, when can I just play the dungeon? Like, that was what I was hedging
right.
Like, hey, this game better make me some money. But
when I saw generative dungeons, I was like, I hope that's what they're building. That was kind of it in my head. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, generative dungeons pretty cool actually. I appreciated what they ended up doing. I'm kind of kicking myself for not picking up one, not just because of the floor price or whatever.
All I know is Pranksy is on our side. He has a few hundred, and when that LP comes out, I expect him to stake it. So
the Legends maps.
I would assume they're gonna have an LP eventually.
Pranksy has hundreds of Legends maps.
Yeah.
He was the one that got it all kicked off.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like the morning, it was funny because remember they were minting out slow, but I was still telling people like this will be a slow builder. I feel like it. And then Pranksy with his gold ape just hopped into the Legend Maps general one day and was like, "Hey, these look pretty cool," and he just went nuts and just started buying after that. So yeah,
the only reason I have those is I traded Sneaky Ninja Pants, my baby Kong at like 6E for all 110. Sneaky's the max mentor, right? Like as many as possible. Yeah. So I just traded him for his whole stack, and now I have bullish on Legends maps. So
that's not a bad trade. That's not a bad trade. I like the Kongs, but I like Kaijus better.
I picture Pranksy walking into the Legends map Discord like Bill Murray walking into a random party as he often does. Where he's just like, "Hey, what's going on here?" I was like, "What the fuck?"
Basically,
that's dope, man. So this is your office. This is your workspace, and you're up to 17 employees. That looks amazing. They're all full time. They're all working their asses off to build out the Kaiju ecosystem.
Yeah, not just the Kaiju ecosystem. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. But we're really scaling against building a game studio. This is a little bit of alpha, but maybe not necessarily. We're really working on a play to earn battle royale. We have an existing game. We're doing play tests. So half the company is focused on Kaiju, another half's focused on that play to earn game, and then some people, depending on time allocation, are spread thin through Kaiju. And Kaiju is actually a separate company from Augmented Labs as well, which is an interesting decision. But yeah, we're just building a lot. So it's not just Kaiju value, but what's nice is you get to use these ecosystems as a flywheel. So every Kaiju is going to be involved in anything that we launch, just like we did for No Escape. So whitelist, etc. No exuberant prices. That's something we don't really believe in either. There's like these crazy Dutch auctions and things like that to raise a bunch of money against it. Like, you know, the $1 million that we got from the Kaiju launch was enough for us to really build this out and create something where it's like, you don't, depending on who you are, maybe you should grab all the cash that's possible because you'll scale faster. But with that comes a lot of risk and a lot of community expectations. So I think we've done a good job of tempering that. But
I mean, that's one of the crazy things about Raid Party is like, you know, do I believe that they have something good going on in a working project? Probably. But at what point do the expectations get so insanely high that it's almost impossible to meet them? I mean, you see that in traditional video games all the time, right? And it doesn't matter how much money gets pumped into the ecosystem. Once that hype cycle really once you really lose control of that hype cycle, it's so hard to rein it back in and temper expectations.
Yeah, big time.
So I'm going to push on one thing then here, because we got a little tease yesterday. Hey, you thought Coinbase was the only thing that was up. Then I thought maybe I saw a mutant Kaiju escaping the lab. We got a timeline here for the people.
We do. And this is maybe just like alpha and whatever. We're so bad at sharing this. This is like something that, you know, how to clearly communicate to thousands and thousands of people what's going on. But yeah, we're doing a little bit of a campaign. Rooftop Rampage is going to be released next week. You'll play to get whitelist for mutants. They'll be at a very affordable price of 0.0666, just like Genesis Kaijus. No crazy DA, nothing like that. And then after that, we might launch a little play to earn game using babies and mutants. Who knows? So,
so fun. Very cool.
We'll have some fun there. And then speaking of community, I think you guys are gonna like this. You'll see we're always talking about like, well, what's baby Kaiju utility and things like that. I think there's something inside that the play to earn ecosystem that's going to be a reward that really builds around community, just like breeding does in these projects. So it'll be fun to play out. So yeah, the video we made a whole movie, dude. We got a whole like 2-minute movie to introduce
I can't wait.
mutants and things like that. And the game's pretty fun too, so I think you're going to enjoy it.
Damn, if you guys haven't seen this mutant preview art, it blows my mind. I never know how to pronounce this name. I'm an asshole. Is it Phil? 3LLL? What am I?
We just call him 3L.
3L? All right, cool. Yeah, no, 3L is like on another fucking level here. I mean, really, this art is, spectacular. If I don't get that like mushroom mutant Kaiju, I'm going to have to pay a pretty handsome reward for it, whoever gets it. That thing is, oh my God.
There's some fun ones to collect. I think that's what's weird too in this space is like, you know, mutant price is already insane from like failed experiments where it's like, you know, what's the expectation against this? I think 3L probably has some of, if not the best pixel art in the PFP space right now. Like all the shit that we do from a PFP perspective is like really clean, really well done. The mutants are crazy. The 10 legendaries that we have are really cool. The specials are cool, things like that. And then hopefully the gamification that we provide around it and like the leveling that you can do against your mutants, what we're doing with the Rooftop Rampage is going to be fun enough to like really get us, you know, past the next 2 months and into the next part of the roadmap. So
that's amazing. You know what, honestly, like you're talking about like pixel art and stuff like that. You know, I minted Galactic Apes. I was always like super, super bullish on that project. Loved the art and all of that stuff. And then Kaiju came out. And I always loved the art too, but Galactic Apes was like kind of the pinnacle for me. And it kind of always had been. But then I started, you know, working on some pixel art myself. And one of the things that I realized is less is more sometimes. And it's very, very hard to do that. And I started looking at Kaijus and I was like, it uses so little detail, but so well that it translates to the profile picture amazingly. And like, it really just like is incredible art. And the more that I started participating in it, the more more and more and more respect I had for that until now. I look at it, I'm like, this is like, you know, peak pixel art. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's crazy because I'm always asking 3L, I'm like, hey, dude, like, you know, can we add this? And he's like, bro, do you realize how little pixels we have? Like, how are you going to add that detail? And I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He's like, it depends on what we're going for. And I think the mastery of like, it's a 69 by 69 square for Kaijus,
Nice.
just to be like kind of meme-y. Exactly. That's really limited room when it comes to crafting an image like that. Like the camera on Kaiju is literally only 300 pixels and it looks fucking great. But yeah, I'm actually curious, you know, we're in the NFT space and I'll take you, I'm curious what you guys think. What kind of mediums do you see as the most relevant in the NFT space? Pixel art, 2D, like Azuki, 3D assets, and where does the market go over the next year?
If we're talking about like more traditional, like visual art, I don't know. I think we're seeing a phase out of the 3D meta. I think that will be like a high watermark once like traditional metaverses start really coming into play. But I think we're seeing that being a bit exhausted. My personal like feeling towards this year is music, but if we're sticking around visual art, I don't even know what the kind of the next iteration is. I gotta believe that generative, like more traditional art, is gonna have a moment in this year too, and it feels like it's ripe for that.
I think people talk about, you know, PFPs being in a bubble, which obviously there's frothiness in certain area, all that type of stuff. But if these are the new luxury clothes, like the fashion items that people are going to be wearing, and there's only 1 million of us here right now, right? I really think PFPs haven't even begun. And what makes a good PFP is simplicity, boldness, 2D. I think that's one besides the nostalgia aspect that we all love, I think that's one reason pixel art works so well. I think it's one reason Bored Apes works so well. Like, I think CloneX, and that's a very divisive collection to begin with, but I think CloneX is the only one so far that's really pulled off decent 3D. It's got to be a little cartoony. These super realistic, like NFP type, those are scary. Like you see those things up close. I'm not sure people want to be represented by that in the metaverse. And to R2's point, as the metaverse develops and 3D avatars are necessities, and then we're using, I do think that, you know, CloneX is revolutionary in many aspects. I do not discount the greatness going on over at Artifact. But I think people are still just discounting how good a bold, clean 2D image is for a PFP.
Yeah. It's funny.
What about you?
Me? Oh, God. I mean, I'm obviously a pixel art maxi.
Yeah.
I think, and this is why I'm looking at the longevity of the company, right? I do think the PFP meta is there, but I think if you're not actually building good branding around it, or running an actual company after the fact, you're not going to do shit. Like you have to either create a game, like CyberKongz has Sandbox, like that is huge. That is way bigger than a lot of people think. Like Kaijus have Augmented Labs and building their own play to earn game. Like some of these other, like BAYC is an actual brand, right? They have clothing, they have different events, things like that. You have to expand on your company and where you're going. And just being a PFP and releasing new art and more art and more art doesn't really do anything. And I think we're going to see, and you're going to see every project struggle with this. I would love to talk about what you guys think about CoolCats, but how do existing PFPs that have been around for 8 months, 10 months, bring in new customers, right? Like how do they get new eyes on their projects? Like is CoolPets like everyone's intro into the CoolCats ecosystem? Or are they just selling to their existing customer base? Like, how do you branch off from that? Because it feels like a lot of projects, like even if they're good projects, they just get stale and they just kind of like disappear, right? You're bored of being in that Discord now. You don't want to hang out with that community. And it's part of it's the NFT rush, but like, how do you keep that longevity, provide enough value, and move to a 2-year timeline, a 3-year timeline, and actually build that brand? Everybody's getting lucky. Anyone can make money in the NFT space if you work really hard. I'm a great example of that. Like I have 0 relationships, 0 connections. I didn't know a single person in August. I still don't know people. We donated $1 million fucking dollars. I don't think a single influencer tweeted out, holy shit, look what Kaiju Kingz did. It was just people. It was just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think what fucking airtime do I get besides hanging out with the boys? Like, that's not there. So how do you transition that into a long-term company brand and really build out Web3, build out the metaverse? Right now, we're all spending money because we're really excited about it, but it takes time to do these things. And so I think we're just going to see, you know, the peaks and valleys. And I don't know where we're at right now, but I think a lot of the PFP art is going to be 2D, similar to Azuki, just because that's what looks best. Like the 3D art, it's not bad. And when you do it cartoonish like Clone X does, like it doesn't look bad from a PFP perspective, but scale is always off. And what we're really,
100% agree.
Right? What we're really interested in is in that little circle, can you tell what that person is representing? And that's what BAYC captures so well in some of these other projects. So
yes.
Oh, dude, we've said that so many times on this show, and it is just spot on because, you know, when you're in that Discord, when you're on Twitter, it is the representation of you. And, you know, a good indication of a PFP is if I can tell who is typing or who is talking without actually looking at their name, right? And, you know, the good projects, even the floors will allow you to do that with people. That was my initial kind of bull thesis around Galactic Apes, honestly, because that's one of the things I thought they did really, really well. But yeah, I mean, it's an incredible conversation, and you know, it's one of those things where this industry is so new. I mean, sure, you know, CryptoPunks is a couple of years old right now, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing. But really, the start line just happened. Let's say March 2021, right? There's no real test cases to learn from. Everybody is going through this industry at the same time, pretty much on equal footing and learning from each other's mistakes in real time. Like you can't go back and learn from history. We're going to see some hiccups. We're going to see some flameouts, and we're going to see some incredible success stories like Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I mean, personally, I think Kaiju Kingz is going to be one of those too. But you know, it's going to be a rocky road. There's going to be some learning going on for sure, and we're all kind of doing it in real time. I think it's going to be fascinating to look back on this time in a couple of years once things have kind of, you know, become mature. You know, the market's gotten intelligent, and we've kind of figured it out.
And there's the big question too, for any project that has had a moment and is now established and now is known within NFTs, how do you go from good art to cultural artifact, right? Because that's why a company like Bored Ape Yacht Club becomes a blue chip and has longevity. And I actually do have hope for CoolCats in respect that I think they can become that through their licensing deals with time. You know, it's a very cartoon, you know, I could see kids loving a CoolCats cartoon, but it's not going to happen with CoolPets. Like you're pointing out, CoolPets isn't it. It's not what takes CoolCats to the next level. It has to be, you know, these are all entertainment properties. We're trying to steal minutes right now from Netflix, okay? We're trying to steal minutes from every other entertainment property. How do you entertain people? I mean, there's obvious ways of merchandise and games and all these things that we do, but I think there's a lot of outside the box stuff as well. And becoming culturally relevant, I think NFTs have the easiest shot to do that than anything. This is the actual monetization of culture. It distills it down into a JPEG. I think that's why they're so profound. These are the new social networks. I totally believe that. So I think that's a different answer for every project in particular, but that's the idea, becoming a cultural artifact, so to say.
Yeah.
Dots, let me ask you this. I don't know how much time you have, but I just want to ask you this. You know, I'm not sure what your traditional like real world background is, and you know, honestly, with like the pseudonymous economy and whatnot, like it doesn't really mean a lot to me, anyways. But what has been your kind of real world experience talking to people about what you do now, this company that you've grown, and how it's on the backs of NFTs, which, I mean, is starting to see some acceptance. Like it's like this like brute force of like seeing NFT everywhere where people are just kind of starting to get it. But you know, even my own experiences of leaving my job in the restaurant industry to pursue NFTs full time and pursue growing a community within it. I think sometimes people have been nice to me and be like, "Oh, that's cute." Like, but you know, it's a real thing. Like, what's been your experience with that, with your friends, with your family, or you know, you're out at a social engagement and people, you're just getting to know people.
Yeah, I've been through. All right, one, I'll talk about just like talking about it to my friends, especially in the early days when it's like, oh, cool, I just made my first $40,000 flipping an NFT or something like that, right? I was in the 2017 crypto hype cycle as a small player in the same respects, and I always hated it when my friends would talk about how much money they made, and I didn't have any action. You get that innate jealousy and things like that. And I think it's better to, instead of talk about like, look how much money I made, always just be there to answer questions and help. And so in my most recent thing, I didn't bug my friends about it. I didn't tell them too much. I didn't want to be known as the NFT guy in August. I just, acted normal, et cetera, and would just talk and casually talk about these things. And, as they got into it, they would ask questions and be like, yeah, we did this and like, you should get in. And you don't want your friends to miss out either, but you don't want them to make bad investment decisions. So that's always like a difficult conversation. The workplace is a completely different conversation. Like people that professionally respect me and I had to move on. Like I worked my way up, from not having a college degree to getting a software engineering job recently. And I was at that job till October. And my boss, I ended up telling them like, I'm like, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to go do my own thing. He has no fucking clue what's happening. And we hadn't talked. And, 2 months later, he shows up at my office that's 2 blocks away from him with 10 employees in it. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And,
so good.
They have to look on LinkedIn and see, like, oh, hey, they donated $1 million. So yeah, like, a lot of people think it's funny money until they see it. And let's be honest for everybody in here too, it is paper money until you realize some of those gains and reinvest it back into yourself and things like that. I think, listen, if you're up 10 grand on NFTs and 10 grand's the most money you've ever had in your life, if you don't take 3 grand out and reinvest that back into yourself, training, learning, lifestyle coach, healthy eating, whatever the fuck you need to be a better person, take some of that money and use it against yourself and then come back and make 30 grand, come back and make 40 grand. I think you have to realize some profits and push and have that trickle into your actual life versus a lot of the paper money that we have right now.
Bored Ape Yacht Club, we're speaking to you.
Yeah. NFTs are, they're like fucking crack. I'm actually worried in a year from now when I can't chase the same high. Like you can't chase the dragon anymore because nothing matches what NFTs were in 2021, 2022. But yeah, that's my professional experience with it is like a lot of people, it is funny money. They're like, okay, cool. You own a JPEG. I don't understand that. Yeah. But then when it trickles into your real life, and I didn't buy a mansion, I didn't buy a new car or anything like that. But when they saw that we were able to stand up a business and be successful against that and have our own jobs, they were like, oh, wow, this is real. Like we did open enrollment yesterday. We enrolled in fucking benefits as a team. That is the most mind blowing thing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You're like, oh yeah, dude, get your health insurance and get your 401k. We're going to make this a 10-year, 20-year business. So
hearing about that building aspect is what's really exciting to me. I mean, because, you're chasing that high of trading NFTs and sure you can make real amazing money in a short period of time and all of that stuff. But, bear markets ultimately hit. You were in 2017, as was I. And I mean, mid 2018 all the way up until late 2020, that was a grind and a half, like but having something to build, having a company to grow, having people to look after and all of that stuff can really be a motivating factor. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to be in here doing what I'm doing, because I certainly didn't leave it to be a full-time trader. I left my job to be doing the show with FMC, trying to help Scott, NBO, and Drip Cult grow AlphaMint, and now with Star Wolves and all of the amazing things that Charlie is doing with that. Like I feel so fortunate and excited to be a part of not just one, but those 3 things, right? And it just every morning I wake up just excited to do it.
That's so fucking sick. It's crazy it's crazy opportunities we're all afforded.
Oh my God. I'm so glad that I actually just pulled the trigger, and I'm not saying like it's for everybody, right? Like there was a lot of explanation I had to do to my wife with my wife. Like, she's like, yeah, but it's not real money. I'm like, no, it really, really is real money. Yeah. And it was actually, like you said before, take some of that money out. it was a game changer the first time that I actually turned some of that ETH into money and it hit my bank account, right?
Yeah.
Because I got so addicted to watching that portfolio go up and like, oh, this is my net worth, this is my net worth. But I know, like, once I could actually spend a little bit of it, I was just like, oh my God, like this is real. Like this is where my life is going. And it was very exciting.
Yeah, I think my thing, and this is like, I just think life advice, and for anyone that wants to do it, like, if you have an NFT that is 6 months of your expenses and you're questioning on quitting your job to pursue this full time, sell the fucking NFT, get your 6 month expenses, and work your ass off. And if it doesn't fail, I guarantee you, your job is going to take you back. The fucking traditional job market is suffering right now.
Yeah.
There's too much paper money in the ecosystem, so they will take you back. Your best bet, this is, what I'll get on my high horse. I think I can say this now, right? Hindsight's 2020. If you had heard about NFTs and didn't do 15 minutes of research and see like, this is the highest moving asset class over the past 6 months, and like, I need to get some exposure to it to make money. Like, you need to learn that lesson that there's going to be shit that you don't agree with that is still going to make money. And that was me in 2017. I was like, crypto's a fucking scam. So I shorted the market, lost all my money. 2020, I flipped that. I'm like, nope, it's not a scam. I'd rather have it than not have it. Let other people work it. You don't have to like something to make a living off of it or make money off of it. And taking your emotions out of it really helps you put it into perspective, I think. So, yeah.
Well said. Someone showed me Bitcoin at 15 cents back in like 2009. I told them it was stupid. And then when it went to 20K, I was dealing with a little cope, I'll admit. There was a little bit of cope involved there. But as 2019 rolled in and I was like, all right, let me try this DeFi summer. ETH seems interesting. Let me give this a shot. I stumbled upon Rarible. And I was like, NFTs, this makes a lot of fucking sense. I was never really into crypto, but when I saw NFTs, it actually made sense to me. Over that year, I decided, like, this is why crypto will ever be relevant. And back then, the hate didn't come from normies because they didn't even know what the fucking NFT was. The hate came from within crypto, as we were called like this Ponzi branch that didn't make any sense. It was like DeFi and financial transaction layers are what's going to take. Well, all those Ponzi's are on their way to zero, and our industry is about to be featured in the Super Bowl. So that's how I feel about NFTs. Meh.
Yeah, dude. I was on. NFTs are insane. I would love to just have like a recap of everyone's 27. Everyone has been exposed to crypto probably 4 times in their life, right? Like once in around like 2010, 2011. If you were on the internet, you probably saw a tagline in some RuneScape forum that said, "We accept Bitcoin," and all kinds of weird shit. You probably missed it. 2013, you have the climb from $20 to $1,000 with China and the Silk Road using it. And you're probably like, oh man, I saw that 20 cents. Like, why didn't I get into this?
I missed the boat though, right?
Yeah, I missed the boat.
I can't buy this at $1,000. That was my first. That was 2014. I should look into this. Nah, too expensive. I didn't even realize you could buy a fraction of it, right? Like,
yeah, that's true too. Just the understanding of it being fungible, but it crashed and you feel vindicated. You're like, oh, that was a scam coin. Right. 2017 comes around and you're like, oh, Ethereum? Oh, Bitcoin's back up? What are these things? And you miss it again. And then NFTs, for years, you get this opportunity for this new asset class that you really have to pay attention to. Yeah. So definitely learn from that. But I mean, I remember I was on Poloniex when, Ethereum was $20. Stellar Lumens had just dropped on the platform for like 0.002 cents. And I longed it. I just learned what margin trading was. I'm like, I'm going to leverage trade. I'm going to be so rich. Longed it, and then I was like, oh wait, it's gone up 10x. This is stupid. Used my entire portfolio, shorted it. It goes up to $1 at 500x. It's like, what's wrong? Lose all your money. You hate this shit. Like, never leverage trade, boys, unless you're just a total degen. But
this is natural leverage. Crypto is already leveraged. Just adding leverage to it is insanity. Sand to the beach.
Yeah, what was that article we pulled up today that was like talking about NFTs as the speculative side of crypto? And I was like, what the are you kidding me?
The whole thing is, yeah. So the speculative side of crypto.
Made me laugh. Yeah, that's hilarious. You know what? Honestly, like I got into crypto. I bought ETH was the first purchase I made, but I'd had that 2014 kind of realization that it was a thing, and then passed on it. And I was at my restaurant managing. I was standing behind the bar doing some stuff. It was a slow day, and this one guy was out for lunch with his parents. And just for anybody out at a restaurant, the bartender hears everything. Just to let you know. But yeah, he was talking about like, oh, like his parents, like I think they were pretty wealthy. They were like, oh yeah, you gotta just buy some Bitcoin. Don't go crazy on it, but buy some Bitcoin. You need some exposure to this. And if you really want, like Ethereum's out there too, super easy to buy. Like, but Ethereum is like got this great trajectory. He was talking about it. He really kind of knew his stuff. He wasn't being super pushy about it to his parents or whatever. He wasn't like mortgage your house and buy everything you fucking can, right? Like it made a lot of sense. And like because I had that 2014 moment and passed on it, that conversation that I was listening in on was very tangible to me. It was very palatable, and I started having this like, okay, like I'm hearing about this again, I got to go down the rabbit hole. And within a week I just like, you know, bought like $5,000 worth of ETH, just like sit there. Now I tried to swing trade and that didn't go very well for me, but you learn, you live and you learn. You go through these and you come out the other side better for it, right? But yeah, that was just like, it was just that moment of like, now okay, I got to pay attention to this now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I like what you said at the end right there too. Like, the only L you take is when you don't learn when you don't learn a lesson, 100%. Right? Like, yeah, I learned not to leverage trade, and look at me, I'm not doing it anymore. I learned, I won with that. Yeah, it cost me $2,000 to win or whatever it was back at the time, but you win by making mistakes and learning from them. So just turn an L into an advantage for you, and you're going to be better for it.
For sure.
Well said. So,
all right, I
have to go to the morning squeeze now. I'm the lemon king.
Squeeze,
it's called the morning squeeze. All right, you got to understand. I'm in these lemons, right? I got all the kaijus in the lemons. I got to go tend our tree here. So there's something called the morning squeeze. It's like an hour show where lemon for an hour. So,
look at you guys with the whole podcast network. I gotta start listening to this. I need to sub to everything. So
every morning 9:30 weekdays, dude. Anytime you want to come on, just message. You know, I'll shoot you a friend request on Discord. Message me or FMC. I'll shoot you the link for this and just like jump in, because I know you're in the NFT space. You're very insightful about all of it, not just Kaijus. And this has been amazing. I appreciate your time, and this has been a great start to our day.
Yeah, Dots, you're hired every day. We expect you.
Yeah, run it. Bring me in as awesome. a special guest analyst. A look into side what founders think. So.
Done and done.
That's amazing, man. All right, we are going to wrap this up. 2.5 hours. What a great show this was. We talked tons about, the market, CoolPets, where raid parties going. We talked about Kaijus before Dots came in, and then we're pleasantly surprised. I apologize, Cass, if you're still listening, but we appreciate you coming up on stage as well. On behalf of Free Market, myself, and hopefully Dots, thanks for tuning in. We'll do it again tomorrow morning at 9:30. Free Market, get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.
Peace,
boys.